We have made it to the Friday Tier 1s. Welcome into Ben and Woods. Not the usual first voice, but if you've been paying attention, you know that Woods is on his way to his Nana's 90th birthday in Dallas. So, let's quickly introduce the cast of the program this morning. To my left, our executive producer, rising to the level of much more busy co-host for the day, is Paul Reindl. Hello, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
I am Ben Higgins, and we are going to take you from now until 10 o'clock this morning. Sammy Levitt's going to be with us in the first half of the program. Darren Smith's going to be in studio for the second half of the show. So it should be a fun way to end what has been a memorable and spectacular week on this show.
All time.
I mean, definitely, I have to look back, and I don't think we've ever had a better trip to spring training.
No, I don't think so.
We've had really good trips.
Every trip has had tons of highlights.
Of course.
And I don't think we've had any bad trips, but something about this week, it was absolutely perfect.
It really was.
The weather was great. The people, everybody was relaxed and fun and having a good time. All the player interviews were phenomenal. We got guys that we haven't had on in years. It was great.
I loved how it was efficient because we've done 4 days. We've done 4 days where one day we couldn't even be at the facility because they were occupied doing other things. So we had to broadcast from the Airbnb.
Production trucks.
Yeah, production trucks. They said, we don't have a place for you to plug in for your radio show, so you're just going to have to stick it out for a day at the Airbnb.
Or Bob Scanlon drove over to our house and hung out with us in our living room.
We really had 3 days without much of a lull. Maybe the first day there was an hour where we were kind of, okay.
During the players meeting.
Yeah, they was doing the MLBPA. They were having their players meeting for 90 minutes. So that was about it, though. And, I mean, talk to almost everybody. Obviously, you can't hit everybody, but it was as spectacular of a week as I think we've really ever had. And I hope Tier 1s enjoyed it as much as we did. It was just so much fun to bring you the coverage from Padres spring training. And now that we're back, you can see the finish line. This is our final show in the month of February. When we come back on Monday, we will be in the month that the baseball season starts.
Crazy.
Opening day is in March 26th, of course, at Petco Park against the Detroit Tigers. And we are slowly closing in on the start of baseball season, and one that I'm pretty optimistic about. We'll talk all about it. First, Paulie, how was your day yesterday?
My day was good. My day was a little bit frustrating in that I received something that I ordered a few weeks ago. I ordered replacement ear covers for my nice work headphones. It's been a couple of years. They're starting to tear apart and get old. So I bought some new ones.
Occupational hazard.
Yeah, they're
when you wear them every day for hours and hours, they just start to disintegrate, essentially.
It's like the foam padding just starts to kind of peel off, and it's gross and not fun. So it was $50. They're $300 headphones. I figured $50 is better than buying a new pair of headphones. And I got them, and I don't know if they sent me the wrong ones. I don't know. It's all I looked at my order number. I looked at the model number of the headphones. Something wasn't adding up. I even went to our engineers, and they're like, we cannot figure out why these will not fit these headphones. It looks like they should. They don't. So I spent an hour trying to figure that out and had no resolution. So I'm using Woodsy's headphones today.
Yeah, radio problems. So this is a funny thing about working in radio, which I have now done. It'll be almost my 30-year anniversary of working in radio coming up later this year, when I first was on the air way back in the old Extra Sports 690. I think 1996 was the first time I was on the air. So don't remember the exact date. It was sometime in the summer that I made my first ever appearance and stepped into a radio station for the first time. And one thing I think I would ever realize is how filthy and messy most radio stations are.
Disgusting.
And sharing community headphones just among the shows that were left in the studio for anybody to use, and how just grody looking some of those headphones would get. I mean, Hacksaw would carry around his pair that looked like it was 30 years old that he would use to do his show.
Kendry Morales with a home run. Vladimir Guerrero had key hits along excuse me, along the way.
Don't you want to wear those headphones?
Exactly. But you'd have to grab whatever was right there. I mean, they were just kind of scattered all about the building. And
our old station, we had different microphones that had the wind covers, the wind screens that go over them, like the big foam balls.
Yeah.
And people would like use the same ones, and it was disgusting. I thought that was weird. Even when I started, I went out to like Guitar Center and bought my own windscreen that only I used. I would take it off and bring it with me because like you had to get really close to it. You were like basically making out with this foam windscreen. And I'm like, you're just going to sit in there and talking to the same one that Dan Cilio was just making out with?
Yeah, they're not designed as some sort of, personal protection. This isn't like the pandemic where they're protecting you from germs. They actually serve an audio function.
Yes.
Those wind socks that go on top of the microphones, they are supposed to eliminate the popping of the P's directly into the microphone, especially some of those older ones. They would soften kind of the sound a little bit. But yeah, you'd get, spittle and little, if people were eating and some of like little crumbs would fly out and they just sit on there. And for the next show would come in and you'd look at them, that nasty thing there. It seemed like it'd be something you should replace. I would say
like one guy would be
two
right
or three
on
times a day.
Yeah.
But no, they would be replaced maybe once a year at most.
At most. Are you kidding me? I was thinking every few years. But like the idea of just somebody else being right on, like basically talking right into this thing, and then you just walk in and then you're like, yeah, I'll do that. Like I guarantee you Darren would weigh in and say he wasn't a germaphobe, but he was very particular about always having his own equipment because the radio is disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a germaphobe in a healthy way. Like, I don't think it's debilitating, but Darren definitely likes things to be clean more than, I felt bad sometimes.
That's why he hated working right after us.
Yeah, and we aren't the messiest show in history, but we certainly weren't, I think, as clean as Darren. Okay, yes. You can still see crumbs at his desk right now. And that Tony Gwynn Jr. didn't leave those because he's not in town.
Right. Nobody sat in that chair.
He's in Arizona. No one sat there since yesterday. So there's zero chance that they were left by anybody else other than him. So, okay, fair enough. He's not the
I'll have to clean that area off before Darren Smith gets here.
That's a good point. Yes. Get some sanitary wipes, some Lysol, whatever, and make sure it's clean before Darren sits down. Headphones look pretty good, although I don't know if he may bring his own. Knowing he's going to be in studio for a couple hours, it wouldn't surprise me. But anyway, we do the same thing at the television station. You'd be surprised. I was anchoring last night at Channel 10. We share, there's like, 4 microphones in the studio. The lav mics that you clip and plug in, and then you plug into your earpiece. And it's not, just all day long. They're just passed around from one person to the next person to the next person. You don't have your own when you're sitting out there. So I use the same one that Kimberly Hunt does when she's anchoring the news, and I got to fill in for her last night. Fairly uneventful coverage of things that were going on. We didn't have any big breaking news. Obviously, the weather has been exceptionally warm here in San Diego for the month of February.
Like oddly nice.
Like really warm, like the record highs. I think Megan was forecasting about 6 or 7 record highs today. Today is actually going to be the warmest day of the week, with temperatures hitting in the 90s in some of our areas of the East County, Escondido, where you used to live, going to set a new record high today. Yeah. And Chula Vistas, I think she says, is going to get maybe close within a degree of the record high for this date. So
89 here.
Very summer-like. And so we talked a lot about that. I did have one story that was a little offbeat. It's always our fact or fiction story. And this was the fact story. But apparently there was a guy in Los Angeles who is going to jail.
Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, this is the same segment that led to that one. Guy, I don't know how, but ended up like capturing an endangered or protected hawk, and then started feeding it buzz balls, and then put a joint in its mouth, and then put the whole thing on YouTube, like videotaped it. And he was reported to like the game and wildlife authorities. Yeah. And absolutely, I mean, guy is going to spend, I think, 45 days in jail, going to have to do some animal cruelty classes, just community service. It's just a terrible story.
Yeah. I really thought you were like, in my head, I thought you were about to say, yeah, I had a story about this guy. He found this endangered hawk and he took him in and he was feeding him with a bottle to cure him, to nurse him back to full health.
He was just trying to get him drunk.
No, he's trying to get him
buzzed.
high. Holy crap. That is so messed up.
Just messed up.
45 days is not enough for somebody like that does that to a defenseless animal that, doesn't know what is happening.
The good news is the hawk is reportedly fine. Maybe a little hungover,
hungry,
but fine. Got some munchies, but is doing okay. Hopefully this is a good lesson. But the lesson that I learned as I was working with a couple of my younger colleagues last night, Talia Latoy and Ava Kirshner, they were quizzing me on if I had ever had a buzzball before. And the answer to that question was no. And then they asked me, well, have you ever, at least you've had a Four Loko before, right? And I said, no, I have never had a Four Loko before either.
Boy.
And they seemed so disappointed in me. I felt like I'm such the uncool uncle or something at work last night, as the popular young kids were talking about what they drink. So I looked up buzzballs. Have you ever had a buzzball?
I don't believe I've had a buzzball.
There's
I
like
have
30
had Four
different
Locos.
flavors.
Yeah, I've seen them at 7-Eleven or other gas stations.
They're like these round, I don't know, like tennis ball sized alcoholic drinks.
Yeah.
And I was being informed by the ladies.
I don't even know how to describe the alcohol. I think it, I don't know. I haven't tried it. It feels like it's like a Smirnoff Ice.
They said they're delicious. And if you want to get, buzzed really fast, go for the buzzball.
Okay.
So I looked
Four
up.
Loko would screw you up back in the day. They had to they recalled them all.
That was like a show, San Diego State frat kind of thing for a while, wasn't it? Like Four Locos, I feel like were very popular.
It was not just a San Diego State thing, but yeah.
So anyway, I looked up all the flavors and stuff, and but anyway, they started knowing now that I'm the old uncle who is not as cool. They started giving me a hard time, just like I was going
to say, you get it at both jobs now.
Get it at both jobs. So Ava and Tolly were saying, "Oh, afterwards, maybe we should go out. You want to go to room 40?" And I go, "Room 40? What's room 40? Is that like a club or a bar or something?" I had never heard of it. I said, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." And Ava says, "Room 40 is nuts." So now I'm getting it at both workplaces. I'm never going to be the cool kid, am I?
I just need a second to let that all process.
I told them, I said, this is going in foreplay tomorrow, ladies, whether you like it or not. They were thrilled. So there you go. That's my colleagues and my coworkers for you. These are the serious people who deliver you the news, San Diego. They're actually quite good at their job, but
typically on Fridays, you're a bit of a bumbling mess. Your storytelling has been elite because you got me on the Hawk story earlier. And then in that story, I don't probably need to go into too many details into where you thought that was going in my head.
I thought maybe I was getting invited to some cool play. Ooh, I get to go out with the cool kids.
Your
That's
younger
pretty exciting.
Colleagues are inviting you out to this bar to go drink some buzzballs. I'm thinking, Ben, maybe did you roll in from the bar, from room 40?
Yeah, I know. I was kind of excited about, is this downtown? Is this somewhere in the gas lamp? I mean, I don't.
And then for that punchline and to know, I can vividly see it in my head. I was not there, obviously, and I can see it. You walking right into that
I had no idea it was coming. I was completely blindsided. No, I really thought it was probably someplace in the gas lamp I had never heard of. I haven't been to the gas lamp in a while. East Village, obviously, Padres games, you're over there, but the actual Fifth Avenue or Fourth, the heart of the gas lamp, I pretty much stay out of there at this age. It's been a while since I've spent an evening in that part of San Diego.
Yeah, I can't remember the last. I think I had a friend in town, and they wanted to get drinks at Altitude, the rooftop bar by Petco on the Marriott there.
Yeah.
That's the last time I was anywhere near the gas lamp, though.
Yeah, that's East Village. I mean, I go up there for opening day. Usually we do our shows up there.
Yeah,
and even that is, probably too hip for me to actually be up there. But anyway, I'm not the cool kid here. Nuts. I'm not the cool kid at Channel 10 either. And I don't think I'm ever going to be The cool kid. Oh, look who's watching from the airport. Good morning to our colleague, Stephen Woods.
I bet he liked that.
Enjoying foreplay here as he gets ready for his flight with his two boys. Traveling, by the way, just one parent, two kids when you're outnumbered. That is a challenge.
I'm sure it is. Woods seems supremely confident, though, anytime it's just him and the boys. He's talked about, like, you know, if he's got them on the road or if Hannah has to be on the road or whatever, like, he doesn't seem to have any problems. But traveling, airports and plane rides and all that, that seems like quite an unknown.
I think he's emotionally prepared for it at this point, and you know, he can handle certainly, but the physical part of traveling with two children, I've done it like once or twice before, and you get there, and of course one of them immediately has to go to the bathroom, but you can't leave the other one just out in the airport, so you got to drag them like both into the airport. Or if you have to go to we know him, he's probably already had to go. At one point, you have to bring them in, like stand them over like by the sinks or something, like don't move, just stay here. And you've got all your luggage as well. And, you know, I mean, you've got stuff for them and they can't carry it. You know, they probably have little backpacks with stuff, but the actual clothes and everything for the weekend, Woods probably has to carry all of that. You know, I don't know how much he's checked versus carry-on luggage, but you've got to keep, you know, you don't want to put it down on the floor of the bathroom either. So you're trying to manage that whole thing. It's not easy to travel with two boys ages, you know.
He says in the chat right here, he says it's a breeze.
It's this easy.
He is confident. I love it.
Don't get overconfident on travel day. Still winter. It's not winter here, but, you know, flights anywhere can come, delays, anything can happen in other parts of the country in this month. Traveling in February in the United States can be very, very dicey. And I wish Woods the best of luck. Hopefully has a very good trip.
Gets some similar weather to us in Dallas. I was just checking.
Should be nice.
60 degrees, high of 80.
Assuming he's doing a direct flight. So, I mean, but it's sometimes the flights come from somewhere else. And like the airplane doesn't get there. It's like, well, where's my plane? Oh, yeah, I got snowed in Boston, which is where it was coming from before. So we don't have a plane to put you on back to San Diego. That's the danger of traveling this time of year.
I hope Woodsy's flight makes it on time and isn't delayed, and he's all good to go.
I do too. And that he's back here on Monday morning.
Yes, healthy.
All right, here's what we've got, as I mentioned, coming up on the program today. I'll set the menu a little bit early because we're going to have an early appearance from spring training, Sammy. Sam Levitt is going to join us coming up in our next segment, and we'll talk about the big stories from Peoria, Arizona. And there is a couple of them, including the news last night from Dennis Lin and The Athletic of a new potential buyer for the San Diego Padres, and a name we know quite well here in San Diego, Drew Brees. Former Chargers Saints quarterback has teamed up with the CEO and founder of Vuori Clothing to be one of the 5 finalists, apparently going to the last stage of bidding on the Padres sale that could be done by or near opening day next month. According to reporting both from Dennis Lin and Kevin Acee from the Union Tribune, they have 5 strong bids, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about yesterday's game in Arizona in Goodyear, where Manny Machado hit 2 home runs, drove in 6. One of them was a grand slam. As he gets ready to leave the team, he'll play today and then off to the World Baseball Classic with Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander Bogaerts, and a few other players. So they were in the lineup yesterday, and the Padres actually put up some offense. Of course, they ended up losing 11-10. Didn't get a ton of pitching in that game against the Cincinnati Reds, but it was good to see the offense and especially Manny get some runs. So we'll talk with Sammy about what's going on at the Peoria Sports Complex this morning. In our 7 o'clock hour, we'll have Don't Do This, stories from headlines from around sports. And then the second half of the show, as I mentioned, Darren Smith is going to join us as well. Of course, all guests on Ben and Woods appear on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It is better. Paulie will have a roundel report. We'll play a little real or fake since we don't have Woods. We switched them on Thursday and Friday, so we'll have a chance to qualify for those last pair of Guns N' Roses tickets for our finalists this week and the grand prize drawing as well. And we'll take it to 10 o'clock. Should be a good one.
I agree.
All right, you ready to get going?
Yeah, Darren usually at 7:30 on Fridays. I think he's going to get here closer to 8.
Okay.
But we'll take that trade off because he's going to be here for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
so
got SDFC game on Sunday, so we can obviously talk soccer. The team announced a contract extension for goalkeeper Pablo Cisniega yesterday as well. So they've got 3 potentially MLS quality goalies. Maybe, a lot of competition, and who knows who's going to get the playing time. But we can talk to Darren about all of that. But we'll get started with some Padres talk in Arizona with spring training. Sammy, that is coming up next. Tier 1's glad to have you with us on a Friday. It's Ben and Woodsy off, but we still got Paul, and we should have a good show for you. Let's get our first check of traffic with Kelly Danick on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
He just, here, I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please don't.
Just a little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Nothing. Now,
so let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
it's going to hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee hurts.
It's going to in a second.
Right here.
Oh, oh, that is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort. Now open.
So I see this weird connection between the Padres sale and the process that's going on right now and the big news that was dropped last night and another sporting event that is currently taking place. The NFL Draft Combine. Bear with me for a second as I make my point.
Okay.
We'll get to that, and Sammy Levitt's going to join us here in just a minute. It is Ben and Woods broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. First, though, Las Vegas, ready to rock, and we're giving you and a guest a chance to win a trip to see Metallica. Life Burns Faster, coming to Sphere Las Vegas for select dates October 1st through October 31st. Get hooked up with travel, 3-night hotel stay, and a pair of tickets to both nights of the opening weekend of their Sphere residency, thanks to Q Prime. And all you have to do to enter is to listen to us on the Odyssey app. Many of you are probably doing it right now. Download the free app, create your account, favorite our station, listen for an hour to get your daily entry, and come back each day for another chance to win. For more info and to sign up for pre-sales beginning Tuesday, March 3rd, head to Metallica.com. This is a national contest. All right, so here was the big news last night. And again, Dennis Lin reporting that Drew Brees and Joe Kudla from Vuori, the founder and CEO of the Vuori clothing company, Encinitas based, a local company, are one of the 5 finalists, one of the unreported names as to this point, trying to buy the San Diego Padres from the Seidler family, a process that is now going on to its final stage. Kevin Acee reporting there are 5, quote, very strong bids submitted by prospective buyers. And we're assuming that if The Drew Brees, Joe Kudla group is one of them. You have Joe Lacob, the owner of the Warriors, is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Friedkin, San Diego native who owns the Everton Soccer Club, and I believe Roma as well in the Italian League, is one of them. And Jose Feliciano, who owns the Chelsea Club, Clear Lake Capital, and is the chairman of that, is one. And then apparently there is also a mystery bidder that is yet to be identified, just to keep this process a little more intriguing for everybody.
It was Woodsy.
It could be. I mean, it could be the Woods family in conjunction with certain other buyers, could be possibly in on this. He's kept it secret from us this entire time. Could be anybody on the planet, essentially. Yeah. Jeff Bezos, anybody.
So we had heard reporting and rumors that the first deadline or whatever was this week, and we got that confirmed at least from Dennis in The Athletic yesterday. He said Wednesday was the deadline. So does that mean, how do these things work? How does this process work? They've got 5 bids, 4 of whom are reported on and we know about now. Do they now narrow it down from those 5 for the next round, or is it a whole new round of different bids? I'm
not a billionaire. I really have no idea. I'm going to assume that the bids are some very detailed financial statements with maybe an offer attached, but they have to then go through and check the financial backing to make sure that, everything is there that they say is there. Probably there. It's probably not all cash offers. It's not like going to the store and you just bring out your credit card and go, all right, charge me $2.7 billion for this baseball team. There's probably a lot of complicated interweave parts in each bid that looks a little bit different, like, there's stock and all sorts of things. So they got to vet pretty heavily, probably with teams of accountants and everything to look at these bids, because there could be a number, but but the value of this one is actually a little bit higher when you factor in certain things. I have no idea.
Go buy a $30,000 car. They'll know the last time you went to the bathroom. They'll check your records well. So I'm pretty sure for a $3 billion sale.
I'm not a financial guru. Ultimately, I'm expecting that whatever offer has the highest value and is the most safe and secure is the one that's going to be accepted. I think it's a blind bidding process. So, that helps drive up the price. You think, hey, $2.6 billion is a nice offer, but that might not get it done because I know these other guys are also bidding and they want to win the team. I mean, if you want the baseball team,
you have to give your best offer.
You have to give your best offer.
Not an auction.
So there's a reason why, AC and Dennis are reporting that the sale of the Padres is expected to set a Major League Baseball record, the highest sale price in the history of the league, breaking the $2.4 billion the New York Mets went for back in 2020. Now, I'm sure the Mets are probably worth more at this point. The Dodgers are obviously, the Yankees are worth more, but they're not for sale. Teams only come up for sale every few years. And at this point, it's the Padres' turn. And with, the success they've had, and the current demand for baseball teams exceeding the number of teams that are available, Padres are going to probably set a new record and be the highest ever franchise value for a baseball team. Pretty impressive considering where they were and what the team was bought for. I think, what was it, $800 million when they were sold to Peter Seidler, the Seidler and O'Malley family, and Ron Fowler and the group that came in 14 years ago.
That's crazy.
And purchased the San Diego Padres. So, hey, if you can, buy a professional sports team in the United States. It's a good investment.
Damn near fourfold, right?
But here's why I compare it to the NFL draft combine and what's going on. Because I see tier ones in the chat going, I hope it's Friedkin. Or I think Kudla, this would be a great bid. He's got Drew Brees. And you may be right.
I was not expecting NFL combine talk this morning.
But here's the thing. We don't really know which of these 5, especially considering one of them, we don't know who it is at all. Don't know which of these 5 will be the best owner and steward for the San Diego Padres. We're just making guesses, just like they are when they look at players at the combine. And you can look at their net value and go, well, this guy has $9 billion in net value, and this guy only has 6. So I want the guy who has 9. There are plenty of owners who have lots of money who are not great sports owners. There are others who aren't as rich as the others, but do a phenomenal job in putting and managing their teams and putting successful products and winning teams on the field. It's not so simple. Just like at the combine, you can measure certain things. You can measure 40 time and shuttle runs, and you can kind of project. I think that guy looks like he's going to be a good player. We can project based on what we sort of see from these guys who we think this guy is going to be a good owner. Well, Joe Lacob, he's not as rich as the others, but he's had success in the NBA running the Golden State Warriors. Maybe that will make him a really good baseball owner. Or maybe it has nothing to do with owning one sport and owning another. It's a lot of guesswork, and we don't really know. So I caution anybody to get overly emotionally invested in one potential buyer over another, because I will be honest with you, and I think a lot of San Diego probably secretly shares this thought as well. When I heard the Padres were being bought by the Seidler O'Malley family, the heirs to the Dodger legacy,
That's a good point. Yeah,
was not all that excited about it. No, they said the right things, and I thought, all right, well, I mean, I guess we have to give them a chance, but this is not what I was looking for the ownership of the San Diego Padres. And man, we know how that turned out with Peter Seidler and the greatest era of Padres baseball ever, and what an incredible owner he was. But we didn't know that at the time.
that's interesting. I was a 21-year-old San Diego State student that wasn't really focused on all that stuff when that sale went down. But that's very interesting. Yeah, you think in 2012 or whenever that press conference was, like, you remember how you felt about all of that? You're like, this guy's a Dodger.
I was,
and then think about 10 years later, and you got the NLDS and the NLC. You're hosting the NLCS at Petco Park.
I was glad, Ron Fowler was part of the bid, and he's, of course, was a longtime San Diegan who
Sure.
are already known. So that made me feel a little bit more comfortable. He was vouching for these guys and was part of their group. But yeah, a bunch of LA bros from the Dodgers, that's all we knew about them. Seidler, Capital Partners, whatever. I'm going, who are these guys, and how could they possibly care about Padres baseball the way that we care about Padres baseball? So as we look at the 5 potential buyers for the San Diego Padres, yeah, I think you can make an argument. Dan Friedkin, he's got more money maybe than all of them, and he was born in San Diego. So yeah, he's got to be the one. Or not. Joe Lacob, he's had success with the Warriors. Maybe that's the one we need. Drew Brees, we love Drew Brees. He's got a great smile. He's personable. We've met him many times. Seems like a good guy. We all love wearing Vuori clothing. So, that clearly is going to make Joe Kudla the best owner of the San Diego Padres.
That's what team I'm on right now.
See, exactly. I mean, you feel like you want to be on a team at this point.
But here's the thing. I guess if you had to say, Paul, pick one, I was intrigued by that report last night.
Yeah.
I was very intrigued. I think that could be, you start to think pie in the sky. Okay, I can totally see that working. But ultimately, I'm not getting too emotionally invested in any of the bids or the bidders.
That's what I'm cautioning for. Just like
there's nothing I can do to
just
control
like if you get overly invested in a draft pick, like going, I think this is the guy we've got to take. If you don't get him, you're going to be so disappointed. You're going to have to tap the brakes a little bit because we don't know. I did a little research.
We'll just wait and see. We got to wait and see. And then once they make an announcement, then you can decide for yourself after you do some homework and go from there.
Yeah, I went down a mini Joe Kudla rabbit hole after I saw saw him do a couple of interviews on YouTube and, young CEO, running a very successful company.
Like, we've known Vuori for years, started right here in San Diego. I know he went to USD. I knew that Vuori had gone like national and they had become on that same level as all of the other major athleisure brands. I didn't know that they were that big already, though, because it hasn't been that long.
So the company is valued, and he started it, basically from scratch, in North County. Company's valued according to, just simple Google searches, $5.5 billion. Now, is that all his? What? I don't know. How much exactly of the company is his? Does he have other, value outside of that? I don't know exactly, what kind of financial backing he brings to it. But clearly, anybody who's in the discussion to buy a baseball team that could end up going for $3 billion or somewhere in that neighborhood has money. I don't think any of these people who are buying the team are spending every last cent on the team and then they'll have nothing left to run it once they get there. I don't see that happening. That did happen in the past. Owners have come in decades past and, hey, we're going to do everything we can just to buy this team, and then we're going to use it to basically fund itself, hopefully, but we won't be able to ever, spend more than we're making. You don't want that kind of owner, but they don't really exist that much anymore. This sports, the professional sports landscape, it's just become too incredibly big for people to even think about. Yeah, well, no, and there were people who could put together $500 million and buy a team. It's a lot harder to put together $3 billion to buy a team at this point.
I guess the only thing I see, Sammy's about to join us here in a few minutes, but the only thing I would just say is, you were talking about we have to not get too emotionally attached to anybody. We got to wait and see. The problem is we don't have any control over who's going to get the bid. The bid is going to go to, you like to think that the family selling the team is going to want to, well, let's see. This guy's offering us 3.5, but this offer for 2.7, he seems like he's going to really be a good person here in San Diego. They're going to take the highest bid.
This isn't the All-Star game. There's no fan vote element.
They will take the highest
San
bid.
Diego Padres.
And then whether that person is a good steward to San Diego and the Padres or not, he's going to be the owner. Like, that's going to happen. So we got to hope that he ends up being a good owner. But it will go to the highest bid. There's not going to be, well, we can take a $600 million bath, but this guy says he's going to really, improve East Village. They're not going to do that. They're going to take the highest bid and sell and move on with their lives.
Think that, a smart new owner would look at what Peter Seidler did and go, I'd like to carry on as much of that as possible. I mean,
I agree.
Making any changes from that, both the community, the investment in the team, and everything that they've done, anything you change or like peel back on is potentially going to hurt you. So I would think that the first thing you do when you come in is you say, yeah, we want to carry forward Peter's legacy as much as we possibly can. And we want to keep as many of the Padres Foundation and our community initiatives and blood drives and everything we're doing. And then we want to add upon that, and we want to do more, and we want to continue to put a great team on the field, and we want to do more even. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do when you come in, at least talk a big game. All right, we got Sammy standing by from Peoria, Arizona. Let's get a quick check of traffic, and then we will be joined by Spring Training Sammy from Padres Spring Training in Peoria coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center. Injured? Demand justice. Demand Jurowitz. 855GetRoss.com. Here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Rivermark Medical. Pays to get an early start when the roads look like this, guys. Yeah, nothing going on except South 805 before the 52. Looks like Caltrans might be getting some large tire tread out of the two right lanes, so just watch out for a little activity there. Rivermark Medical is conducting a Rapid 3 study for FlowStant, a minimally invasive device designed to relieve symptoms from BPH. Men 45 or older suffering from frequent, painful, or difficulty urinating may qualify. Learn more at rivermarkmedical.com. That's rivermarkmedical.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All of Spring Training Sammy's coverage presented by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com, and let's go out to the Peoria Sports Complex. First question, of course, all cards on the table. Sam, are you the mystery bidder for the San Diego Padres?
Yes, I've got a group together. Some of my friends, East Coast friends.
Right.
Friends
there's some big East Coast money back there.
Yeah, you don't even know. Yes, I've got a group together that's involved. No, I did read all that reporting last night. Interesting. And I guess we're going to see where it all goes. By the way, and he was out here momentarily, but he's working, I assume. So he had to go inside. But I saw our guy Ryan Cohen here today.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
We're representing John Boy Media at Padres Spring Training.
Yeah, I was gonna surprise you and bring him on, and maybe I just ruined the surprise if he comes back out. But
find
I don't know.
Sammy Levitt.
He was taken away by PR to do some work. So but he is
He's
here
a
today.
celebrity
Ryan
now.
Cohen,
I mean,
yes.
they got to roll out the red carpet for Ryan Cohen and John Boy Media when he comes all the way to Arizona from New York City to
That's
cover
right.
the San Diego
That's right.
Padres.
Speaking of the East Coast, that's right. Maybe you never know. Maybe Ryan Cohen is the is the mystery bidder.
Sam, I've got to imagine that in the clubhouse, in their quiet moments, that the players do talk about the potential sale of the team, just like any employee of a big business would talk about. Yeah, you heard the company is going to be sold. I wonder who the new bosses are going to be. But publicly, there really hasn't been much. Have you heard anything from players really as this process has gone on?
No, and they've been asked about it over the course of the first few weeks of spring training, and especially early when some of the TV crews were here and we were doing a lot of big scrums and the big guys, Manny and Musgrove and Tatis and Cronenworth. I think Bogarts was asked about it, if I recall, and all those guys, essentially said some version of, hey, our job is to play baseball, and it doesn't really affect us day to day when we're in the midst of the season. But, I think in private, I'd be surprised if there's not some chatter about it. And it's certainly something that, even though day to day, right now, this season, it may not affect them. Obviously, a new owner coming in and what they want to do as far as spending and the team and things like that. Those are things that directly affect those current players. So I'm sure there is chatter about it, but publicly they certainly have kind of said it's not something we're thinking about day to day and have not said much about it.
I know if Bob Odyssey was going to sell 97.3 The Fan, we'd want to know, who's going to buy the station, what are they going to do? Are they going to keep all the employees the same way? Are they going to invest in some new payroll? But we just don't really know, and I think the players kind of feel the same way. So they continue with the business of getting ready for a baseball season. And yesterday, a little different after all the pitchers had been dominating for the first week or so of Cactus League play. Got a little offense, especially from one Manny Machado yesterday.
Yeah, it was great to see, right? Manny having a couple of home runs and swinging the bat well, and obviously he'll head off to the WBC. I think he may head out tomorrow, from what I understand. I would assume he's not playing today, considering he's now played 2 days in a row. For all I know, he's going to play on Saturday. I don't know what exact date, but we're right there as far as those guys leaving. Like, I know Mason Miller was more like the first or second. So in the next few days, all those guys are going to leave, and for whatever it's worth, I'm sure Manny did not mind having a couple of good swings before he heads off to the WBC, and obviously the at-bats become a lot more real and intense, and the competition gets a lot better in that WBC. So good to see what he did yesterday, and those guys, I believe in the next couple of days, they're all going to be heading out.
The first home run, though, came in Goodyear yesterday, came from one of the backup catcher candidates. Not someone I know a ton about, but Rodolfo Duran hit a home run, and it came off Chase Burns, the young stud for the Cincinnati Reds who started that game yesterday. I think we're all kind of cheering for Campusano and feel like he's got the inside track, but Craig Stammen has mentioned a couple of times that a guy like Rodolfo Duran is competing as well for, backup spots to Freddie Fermin. How much have you seen in the catching competition so far, and any just kind of update on how it's going from your perspective?
Yeah, I think the 1 and 2 are very clear with Fermin and Campusano. However, you have Duran in there, you have Blake Hunt in there, and Duran, it is the PCL and it is El Paso, but he did hit 16 home runs last year at AAA and put up some decent offensive numbers.
Didn't know that.
Again in the PCL. So, look, I think with Duran and Blake Hunt and the rest of that catching group in there, you could put some prospects in there as well. Anthony Villar is a guy that, is in the system. There are a couple of guys that beyond Ethan Salas are names to watch and are farther along as far as the minor leagues than Ethan Salas is. And, those guys I think are guys to keep note of for two reasons. Number one, if somebody gets injured, that's who you're going to. We certainly saw plenty of Brett Sullivan over the last few years, and kind of you wonder who's going to slide into that Brett Sullivan type spot when you need a catcher who comes up and fills that role. And also with performance, right? A guy in Campy who you kind of figure is going to get a lot of runway, but to stay in the big leagues at some point is going to have to perform this year. So for those two reasons, worth noting, you got Duran, you got Blake Hunt. You've got Villar. You've got a few different guys in that catching group that you should certainly keep in mind. But I think it's pretty clear as far as the 1 and 2, as long as everybody stays healthy, as far as the opening day roster, it'll be Fermin and Campy.
Talking to spring training Sammy from the back patio at the Peoria Sports Complex. Nick Pivetta got the start yesterday. Didn't seem like he was that sharp on his command. What did he have to say about his performance against the Reds? I think 2 innings, 3 runs, couple of walks in that effort.
Yeah, I did watch the highlights. I did not go to the game yesterday at Little Ohio because Sam's mom is still here, so we did a little hometown Scottsdale yesterday. So I did not talk to Nick Pivetta myself after the game, but I did. It was one of those days where I didn't go, but I did see what he did. I did see the line. Look, first outing of spring training, I wouldn't put too much stock into it. But overall, I mean, I talked to Craig Stammen a little bit about it yesterday. Just Pivetta and kind of what gives them confidence that he's going to be able to do what he did last year. And I don't want to say that's a question per se, but I do think it's part of the equation when you talk about this starting rotation of, you're putting a lot of stock into the idea that Nick's going to have that kind of season again, a career year, and they're going to need him to, certainly. So, again, first outing in spring, not too concerned about it, but as long as he came out healthy and all is well on that front, then I assume all is good. But I did not talk to him after the game yesterday. I was too busy. I was too busy in Old Town.
That's okay. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Nick, and I don't think anyone really needs to. But there is, when you come into camp and you're one of the starting pitchers, as Nick is, and really of all of them, because Joe and Michael King, even though we know they're going to be in the rotation if healthy, they have some stuff to prove after last year. Nick is the one guy who has nothing to prove. He doesn't have to really show anything. He can approach his spring a little bit differently than other starters.
Sure.
He may not want to show everything. He may just want to go out and just throw, just get the arm loose, and really doesn't care at all about results. Doesn't need to scout other, the batters that he's facing. There's really no game plan. It's just about getting the arm loose. And so that's why you can't read, or you can sometimes read into some spring training results, but you can't read into other spring training results at times. And you kind of have to be kind of selective about what you do and don't put stock in.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on Pivetta, right? He's one guy that you're not worried about at all this spring. He just needs to get through it healthy. And then I think the question with him heading into the regular season is just purely, can he do it again? And I don't believe you have any reason based on what he did last year to think that he can. And you're right, with King and Musgrove, you got the health part of it to just keep in mind this spring.
Speaking of Musgrove, he was pitching another simulated game. We'll get an update from Sammy when we come back. Top of the hour. Maybe Ryan Cohen will even stop by if you can find him. We'll see. But we got to take a quick time out, top of the hour. Come back with more from spring training in Peoria with Sam Levitt, Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I said I was getting a little ribbing from my TV colleagues last night. Now Woods' kids are making fun of me, doing bits on the plane, just staring straight ahead in their seats, like I tend to do on a flight or on a long drive.
Yeah,
No
I don't know that
headphones,
they'll make it as long as you do.
There's no chance. There's no chance. It takes a lot of effort to raw dog an entire flight for 4.5 hours or however long. Probably not quite that long to Dallas, but he will be back on Monday. Hopefully no worse for wear. We've got spring training Sammy right now with us in Peoria, Arizona. You're getting ready for Craig Stammen's going to talk a little bit early this morning.
Yes, he's scheduled to speak here any moment. So I'm currently looking at the backdrop. I'll hop off here, do that quickly, and then come back when that's over. But yes, the various members of the media and broadcasters, Jesse and Tony, are here. Bob Scanlon as well. So getting ready for that, and I'll immediately report back anything noteworthy.
He doesn't usually speak first thing in the morning. So is there anything, or should we be expecting any big news, you think?
I don't know. Well, you're right. Typically, he does not speak before Clubhouse is open. So that is a little different. So we'll see. I don't know that means anything, but could just be a scheduling thing. Manny Machado just walked in. So that's your buddy, Manny. Just walked in. They've got, by the way, if you're a Travis Matthew fan, the brand, they've got a whole thing set up here today. I guess they're selling Travis Matthew they got the minor leaguers here, so I think they might give them a discount or something. So
now that may be ending soon. If Viore buys the Padres, you're not going to see any other brands around there.
That's a good point.
Hey, fine by me. I've been buying Viore for 5 years. It's the best clothing company in the world.
That's a good point. Speaking of, look what I'm wearing right now. But
we're all a bunch of shills. Yeah, he hasn't even bought the team, and we're already shilling.
Just like you guys. It's like all we wear. So
supporting a local company. I mean, that's a good point.
Jesse Agler's peeking in there. He is.
Hi, Jesse.
Jesse Agler.
Yep.
Getting ready for a trip over to Scottsdale today, right?
Yes.
Salt River Field. Padres going to be playing the Rockies.
Yeah, and I am going to that because
everyone goes to Scottsdale, Sammy.
Yeah,
and
also my brother is coming today. So that's going to take a little attention off me. So my mom is going to be with my brother, and I'll go to Scottsdale, have a kind of a normal day. So.
What was the update from Joe Musgrove yesterday?
Oh, here's Craig. All right.
All right. We'll get that later as Sammy's going to go get all the word directly from the horse's mouth, the horse being Padres manager Craig Stammen. We'll get the update. I heard good things, from Kevin Acee and the other reports that Joe says feels good, and his next step should be entering an actual Cactus League game. He talked to us about the soreness of the up downs and trying to get through that. That's actually the hardest part. You can throw 30, 40 pitches at full velocity, but it's the stopping in between for an inning and then trying to start it up again that is the real challenge, especially when you're coming back from a year and a half since you last pitched in a real game. That's what he's trying to overcome.
That's one of the biggest hurdles. Like that's the clearest sign, like, okay, you're trending in the right direction. And usually they'll want to get through like 2 or 3, I think, up downs before they feel comfortable. Like, all right, let's go out and now let's get some game work in.
And one of the things that he mentioned was, you're going to get the fatigue. So when you throw with the fatigue, do you lose a ton of velocity, or can you keep up your stuff and your movement even when you're tired? That's something that they're looking for pretty closely for guys. And I think Michael King the same, coming back as well when he got his up downs, is, because you want to be able to pitch at least into the 5th, 6th inning early in the season and know that you're going to be effective, deeper into games. And that requires, getting that feel, trusting that, the arm is going to hold up a few times, even though you don't feel 100%, because I guarantee you within a couple of weeks, none of these guys are going to be feeling 100% again. And you have to be able to trust that the arm's going to be able to make it. And that's a big mental hurdle to coming back from a major surgery like Joe had. It's basically a new arm that you're feeling out for the first time, new ligaments in there that you didn't have before. And you've got to just go through that process of seeing what it feels like, what it recovers the next day, 5 days again, and doing it all over. So sounds like Joe's making the kind of progress that he is hoping for and expecting as he gets ready to, hopefully be ready to go as opening day. We got a lineup for that game in Scottsdale. The Padres will once again be sending most of their, top players. In fact, you could very easily see this being a lineup in the first week of the season. And since this will probably be the last game that the Padres have with all their players until after the World Baseball Classic, I'm going to read a little bit more into this one than I would on a normal spring training game. But here's what they've got. Xander Bogaerts leading off at shortstop. Jackson Merrill batting second in center field. Manny Machado DHing and hitting third. Fernando Tatis Jr. batting cleanup in right field. Jake Cronenworth batting fifth at second base. Miguel Andujar playing first base and batting sixth. Ramon Laureano batting seventh in left field. Sun Myung Song playing third base and batting eighth. And Luis Camposano behind the plate batting ninth with Randy Vasquez on the mound against the Colorado Rockies. What do we see in this lineup, Paulie? You go Bogaerts again at the top, and then a lefty, Merrill, right behind him. And then you've got two righties, Machado and Tatis. They told us, they like the idea of batting next to each other. They got those two guys together. Then back to a lefty with Jake Cronenworth, and then some righties in Miguel Andujar and Ramon Laureano. And then you've got Sun Myung Song and Luis Camposano to finish out the lineup.
I don't disagree that could very well be a lineup that we see, in that first week.
Now, Castellanos will be in some of those lineups. Fermin obviously will be starting sometimes.
Maybe that's your Sunday lineup.
You'll need your backup catcher as well. But
I just am not fully on board yet with seeing Fernando in the 4 spot. I feel like he's the most dangerous offensive player in the lineup. And I want him to be at least in the top 3. Getting a guaranteed at bat in that first inning, I think, is important enough that that's where I'd like to see it. Now, it very well could work out this way, and he ends up having an MVP type season in the 4-hole, and I'd be happy to be wrong about that. But it just feels like he is the most he's the most dangerous guy. He can do it. He can do it all. He can hit for power. He can run. He can, stretch a single into a double on you. I would like to see him get as many at bats as possible.
Looks like we've got Sammy back after a quick session with the manager. We were just going through the lineup, which we thought, I don't know if he talked about it at all. Since it's the last lineup, we'll probably see until after the World Baseball Classic with most of the regulars. I read a little bit more into this one than I would normally do because it feels like something you could see very easily in a regular season game for the Padres.
Yeah, for sure. With Andujar in there against the lefty. Yeah, for sure. Interesting. I mean, they keep on rolling out this Bogaerts, Merrill, Machado, Tatis when they're all in there. So I do continue to read into that. As far as Craig Stammen talking, look, I have major news. Craig's leaving. He's leaving. No,
he's done.
Well, he is leaving, but it's only for a couple of days. He's got his sister's wedding.
Oh,
so he's going to be out for a couple of days. Randy Knorr will be the acting manager over the next couple of games. It sounds like so.
Not Ruben. I thought Ruben was the associate manager.
Yeah.
Well, so actually he talked about this a little bit. It sounds like the reasoning for that is like if Craig gets ejected, which probably will happen at some point, then what if Ruben gets ejected? You still need a pitching coach.
You don't want Ruben.
Then you're
in
a scenario where Ben Fritz has to come running in from the bullpen to then be the pitching coach. So it sounds like an ejection scenarios. Randy Knorr will still be kind of the, kind of classic bench coaching.
The second sacrificial lamb. If you have one of those really gnarly games in which multiple people get ejected, you want to insulate Ruben, be able a little bit from the chain of command,
right?
So he doesn't get thrown out of the game.
Of course, Ruben can still get ejected.
Yeah, right.
Time, but
he wants
if Ruben wants to get ejected, that's not going to stop him. But I guess, yeah. So is it fair to think that as an associate manager, if that were to happen in that scenario in which Craig Stammen gets ejected, Ruben may not be the acting manager at that point, but do we think he's still making a lot of calls as the associate?
Yeah, I think even when Craig Stammen's there, I think Ruben's making a lot of the decisions as well.
I think Ruben has a big say in a lot of those decisions, but it does make sense. So nothing else really notable to report. I did ask him a question about kind of the final bench spot, which I think is kind of as we're getting, deeper into spring training, kind of a fascinating part of some of the decisions the Padres are going to have to make, because I think there's a scenario, if everybody stays healthy, where you're looking at like one bench spot, and you have a lot of options and guys who are pretty different to sort of fill that, but nothing real notable aside from that.
Yeah, I still think that if all things being equal and everyone healthy, I think Bryce Johnson needs to have a spot on this team over Ty France, if that's what it comes down to. I mean, yeah, if Ty France is just mashing the cover off the ball, you could change my mind, but Bryce Johnson just a little more versatile. And again, that pinch running situation late in the game,
right?
Like the idea of Johnson be able to come off the bench and do that. With the Craig Stammen wedding situation, is this one of those things where when you take the job, you say, but I already have this wedding in late February, early March. I can't get out of it, so you're just going to have to figure it out. That happened to me when I got hired at Channel 10, and this was over 20 years ago. I said in my final interview, and they offered me the job, I said, I definitely want to take the job. I've already paid for this trip to Italy. It's coming up in about a month, and I'm going to be gone for 9 days. So they kind of gave me that sour look, like, really? Like, you're going to be gone? I go, I don't know what to tell you. It's already paid for.
Well,
I'm going.
Didn't have the job. Yeah,
if you still want me, I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't want to cancel this trip. It's trip of a lifetime sort of thing.
Right. I think that's fair. It's
we know you didn't pay extra
and
for
by the way,
insurance.
Exactly.
And it's spring training, so I think it's perfectly fair and the right thing to do for sure that it goes to his sister's wedding. I did see that email from Adam that was discussed on multiple shows yesterday about time off. You know, the thing for me with the time off, I'll give you an example, kind of not the same because this is my 5th season, but kind of similar. I was asked to officiate one of my best friend's weddings in mid-June. And you guys know me. I don't miss games unless I get sick. I mean, I usually try to do 162 unless there's been some scenarios where it's popped up where I've got pretty sick and lost my voice. But I told Adam in January, I was like, hey, 3 dates, I'm out officiating this wedding. So
and with that, the wedding ceremony has come to an end. You may kiss the bride.
How about this? Wait, how about this? How about this? And with that, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Nice.
There you go. Look into the camera. That's a post right there. It's already been discussed. I think they want it.
Yeah, I think you have to.
That'll be fun.
You got to do it.
Yeah,
you got to stay on brand.
I've never officiated a wedding before, so that'll be fun.
Woods can give you some tips. He's done, I think, 2 or 3 of them now at this point.
Yeah,
you've gotten sanctioned, and you had to do the online thing, or no?
I have not done anything like that yet. She told me that her dad was going to tell me exactly what I had to do, and that has not happened yet. But we got time. It's not till June, so I hear it's
quick update here. We got a couple more minutes, and then we'll let you go. We got Don't Do This coming up. Sun Song in the lineup again today. Had his first hit, walked a couple of times yesterday. What kind of progress is he making, and just kind of what are you hearing about his transition from Korea?
Well, I think it's pretty clear defensively he's going to be really versatile, and I think very, very solid, and is going to be able to play all over the place. I think the question, as is with a lot of guys who come over from the KBO, is just going to be his offense. Now, he did do some productive things offensively yesterday, which was good to see. I mean, we just talked about that final bench spot. Hey, he's going to be, a candidate. And look, I didn't really respond to what you said about Bryce Johnson. I happen to agree with you about Bryce Johnson. I think he played really well last year. He hit 340 something, in limited sample size, 80 something at bats, but he provides speed. They don't really have the 4th outfield type if he's not on the roster. But, Sungmoon Song is also going to be very, very, very interesting if they feel like coming out of spring, he's ready to hit major league pitching, which I would assume is sort of the question with him. But I think from a versatility defensive standpoint, I think he's going to be ready. And I think he provides quite a bit, as we see Ryan Cohen right there. Finally, Ryan Cohen has been working hard.
How you doing?
You want me to give the headset to Ryan, or you want the next?
If he's there, might as well just put him on headset, Sammy. Appreciate it. We'll say hello
Ryan,
to Ryan.
They want you. Here's your headset.
Is this Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
It's Ben and Paul on 97.3 The Fan. Woodsy's on his way to Dallas with the kids for Nana's 90th birthday, but it's good to see you, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's I see the sun, which we don't see a whole lot of in New York City this time of year. So
I was going to say, how did you get this sweet gig going from New York to Peoria, Arizona, where it's 90 something degrees, and enjoying your favorite San Diego Padres, courtesy of John Boy Media? Is this on the company dime?
This is PTO. I just wanted to come hang
bad.
out. No, honestly, I was kind of excited. I was like, I can just go be a fan and have fun. So hanging out here, staying across from the complex in the sunshine. I'm seeing a lot of big leaguers walk around, and it's great. I'm having a great time.
All right, what's on your schedule then while you're going to be there, going to some games, going to enjoy some nightlife? What's the plan?
The one piece of work I had to do, I already got out of the way. I interviewed Craig Stammen this morning. He's
Nice.
awesome. He's fantastic. And that's out of the way. So now it's just hang out, listen to the crack of the bat, if you will, and enjoy being in the sun. I'm going to see some friends this weekend, so I'm really happy to be
That's
here.
awesome.
Very nice. And life is good for you. Just I know everyone wants to make sure you're doing well, Ryan.
We're doing well, though. This weather in New York this year is brutal.
Not San Diego
It's
like.
getting to me. No, but other than that, doing really well. Job's great. Friends are good. Everything. I'm having a great time, and I'm ready for baseball season. I'm ready for it.
How are you feeling
Let's get it
about
going.
this year? Let's go.
I think we're going to win the World Series.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
okay.
Yeah. What do you think about
Absolutely.
the ownership drama? Apparently, we're down to 5 finalists, including a mystery candidate, including Drew Brees and the founder and CEO of Viore.
I've been trying as hard as I can to not pay attention to it because I like baseball. I like the on-field product. Whoever ends up buying it, I hope they're willing to spend money and want to win. That's really all it is for me. And kind of like a manager hire, I'm not going to judge the owner at first. You kind of have to put your money where your mouth is and show me that you're a good owner, and hopefully that next person or group will do that.
Well, Ryan, it is great to see your smiling face. Enjoy your trip out to Arizona, and hopefully the weather will be a little bit better when you get back to New York. I heard you had feet of snow, like a blizzard that hit the East Coast a few days ago.
Multiple. Too many blizzards. Too much snow. I like the sun. I'm from San Diego.
It's so nice. Ryan, it's so good to see you. Thank you for sitting down for a couple of minutes.
Great to see you, and thanks to Sam Levitt for letting me hop on the mic for a sec, too. That was very nice of him.
I think we're good to
buddy.
go. Ryan Cohen, Sam Levitt joining us from spring training in Peoria, Arizona. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, don't do this. And I've got a story of a golfer nearly killed at a tournament, but not in the way that you might think he was nearly killed. I don't know what you're imagining, like eaten by an alligator, hit by a stray golf ball, but no, this was totally different. We'll get to that and the very unusual night that the Atlanta Hawks are going to be hosting this year.
Ben.
Yeah, we'll find out coming up next. Quick timeout, check traffic, and then more Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, we spend a lot of time talking about preparation in sports, game plans, adjustments, knowing what could go wrong, but a lot of people head into retirement without anything close to that kind of plan. Between inflation, rising healthcare costs, market volatility, and just the cost of living here in San Diego, it's no surprise retirement is stressful. That's why Trajan Wealth exists. TRAJAN Wealth.com. Trajan Wealth works with people who want clarity instead of guesswork. Their fiduciary advisors help build personalized retirement and investment strategies based on your goals and your comfort level, because one size never fits all. They're local to offices in San Diego, Carlsbad, and Del Mar, so they understand what really costs to live and retire here. If you've ever thought about getting a second opinion, this is an easy place to start. You can learn more at TRAJANwealth.com or just pick up the phone. Call 619-367-0207. That's 619-367-0207. And when you're ready, again, everything starts at TRAJANwealth.com. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter. Dream bigger. Advisory services through Trajan Wealth LLC, SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Okay, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Look forward to having Darren Smith join us here in our Bill Howe studios. We know how, coming up at the top of the hour. First, though, get to Don't Do This on a Friday. It is brought to you by Dixie Line Lumber and Home Centers, helping San Diego homeowners and contractors fix it, build it, and
enjoy it.
Correct.
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
First time you've done that, I think.
I am possibly.
Stepped in nicely. All right, I will get us started with DDT. And actually, this story, no one did anything wrong. It just was really awkward for the timing. So when the U.S. men's hockey team won their Olympic gold medal in overtime, 2-1 over Canada over the weekend, Sunday, part of being an Olympian means you are subjected to random drug screenings. And they oftentimes come after matches. And unfortunately, the timing of this one was a little weird for NHL star Brady Tkachuk, who was going into the locker room after the game to celebrate, wild celebration, gold medal with all of his teammates when he came in contact with one of the testers. Said, hey, you've been selected for a random drug screening.
That's the tester. He was the testee.
He was the testee. The tester was there. So nothing totally weird about it. The only problem, Brady talked about this on the podcast. He said, I didn't have to go yet. So that's fine. There is a procedure for that. All you have to do is the tester has to remain like visually right next to you until it's time. Nature calls, and then they'll go with you and do the test. But Brady was like, we're celebrating here. So for the entire celebration for the next, I don't know, he said hour or two, while he's celebrating and they're doing the champagne or whatever, however they're celebrating, he has this guy who's just walking around with him everywhere he goes because you can't leave him because you can't, you don't want to, once you're going to be tested, they don't want you to slip anything or You have to see everything from that point on. So for an awkward hour or two until he felt like he had to go, Brady was
He just had to sit there.
In this entire celebration. Everyone's wild, and then Brady's just got his monitor this entire time until he needs to go to the bathroom and can get the test done, and then the guy can go off with the sample. It was just, I mean, again, no one did anything wrong. Just the way it works. It just ended up being the most weird and awkward time for it. Can you imagine if that happened like a World Series and they're doing the champagne spray and everything? I'm sorry, Fernando, we're going to need to test you. And he's like, I don't have to go yet. So you just have to stand there with him the entire time.
Awful.
That
is
funny.
wild.
All right, here's the story that I teased for you about the golfer who nearly died at a tournament in South Africa, but it actually was not on the course. And this one actually shook me a little bit because I worried that this could happen to me. Italian golfer Andrea Pavon was competing in the South African Open near Cape Town.
Okay.
And he was at his hotel, was in his room, 3rd floor, goes to the golf course, heads to the elevator, hits the button, just kind of doing his thing. Might have been on his phone. Door to the elevator opens up, steps on in, except no elevator there.
Oh, my God.
Empty shaft, and he fell all the way to the bottom, 3 stories. Obviously badly injured, but fortunately not dead. According to his former coach, he went to Texas A&M, JT Higgins, no relation. He said, I have not spoken to him, but by all accounts, he is in good spirits, thankful to be alive, FaceTiming with his kids and his family. And it made me think, how much do you pay attention when you're getting into the elevator and the doors open, that the elevator is actually there, or just out of habit, especially when you work in a building like we do,
right?
And you're just constantly, you hit the button, you're looking at something else, you hear the ding, and it's like, oh, it's okay, it's this one, and you're just kind of looking down and you just walk in. Are you always paying attention to make sure that it's not just an empty elevator shaft and the elevator is actually there?
I like to think I would notice if the elevator's not there.
That's why this story in particular disturbed me so much, because
man,
I know there are safety backups and systems that are designed to make sure that doesn't happen, but clearly it can. And it does. An elevator door can open and the elevator is not there.
I mean, that's really scary to think about. Like, we're on the 6th floor. If that elevator is not there and you step over,
we're not surviving that one. The 3 floors is bad, but apparently survivable.
Wow.
6 floors, we would be toast.
Sorry if I missed it. Well, did they have injuries?
Yeah, he has some sort of injuries. He had taken to the hospital for some sort of surgery.
I didn't know if anything reported.
Nothing specifically reported, but clearly, obviously, injuries to his back and shoulder is all they said, and had surgery in South Africa on Wednesday night.
Yeah, somebody in the chat, Steve, says Katie Wu doesn't have these concerns. Katie Wu, who had to walk up and down 20 flights of stairs and probably still has to right now, for all we know. She told us about that earlier in the week. That's 2 awful elevator stories. I'm really psyched to get into the next elevator.
I think it's probably more dangerous to have to walk down 20 flights of stairs. I mean, you're more likely to trip on a stair,
fall,
I think, and kill yourself in a stairwell than the very rare circumstance that the elevator malfunctions and the elevator's not there. Clearly, the elevater was above him because he fell all the way to the bottom. I mean, if the elevator's on the 2nd floor, you just fall down to the elevator.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we're on the 6th floor, so the elevator would be somewhere at least in the shaft. But I mean, if it's down on the 1st or 2nd floor, it won't matter. We're still going to fall all the way to our death.
Ugh.
I don't know that I even needed. I wanted to see that story, but now I'm going to pay more attention when the elevator bell dings and I get in.
I got stuck in an elevator one time. It was absolutely terrifying. Yeah, it was absolutely terrifying. It was at the airport when I was 16, and luckily the elevator stopped and the door wouldn't open.
Did you get to push the emergency button?
Yeah, they thought we were joking. They thought we were pranking them.
Yeah.
And they hung up on us. And I was like, are you insane? I was like, are you kidding me? We're stuck on this side of the airport. We're stuck in this elevator. We had to pry the doors open, and the ledge to the opening of the door was at eye level. So we just had to throw our luggage up and over and climb out of the elevator shaft. It was terrifying.
Wow. That
Not
is
fun.
scary. More claustrophobic or like fearing for your safety?
A little of both, I think.
Yeah.
You're just more like we didn't know where we were. Like we didn't know if we were close to the elevator opening or not. And luckily we were, but you're just like, how am I going to get out of here? I'm stuck in this small elevator space. How do I get out of here? And these people think I'm joking. I'm pranking them on the emergency button on the intercom.
Rod says, very polite, always stand away from the doors, allow people to walk out before, which, you should do. So if people walk out, presumably the elevator's actually there. No one's ever walking out of like 1 in 100 when we're on the 6th floor. Not that many people are coming up here. So it's almost always empty. So you start to get into the habit of not paying attention that much when you walk in. And now I'm going to be paying more attention.
I think a lot of people are going to be paying more attention now.
Wow. All right, finally, a little doo-doo this, Paulie.
DD mega doo-doo.
It's always good when a local sports team celebrates their city's vibrant culture and history. And the Atlanta Hawks will be doing so, announcing yesterday their plans for Magic City Night at an upcoming Hawks game on March 16th. Magic City is one of the city's iconic cultural institutions, according to the Atlanta Hawks, and that's why they're going to be honoring it, historic Black culture in Atlanta. Magic City also happens to be a strip club.
Hell yeah.
A very famous one that many musical artists got their start in the club as DJs, getting their up-and-coming start. It's also just kind of a cultural hub. They're known for their lemon pepper chicken wings, like famous lemon pepper chicken wings. It's supposed to be some of the best you're going to find in all of the South at Magic City. But this is the first time, I believe, that a professional sports team has had a night to honor a strip club at an actual game.
I have never been to Atlanta, and I've never been to Magic City. But I've heard of it. I think I've heard about it, and I know that it is a staple in the community, and I have no problem with that. I know you don't have any problem with that. You're probably wondering when the Arizona Cardinals might have one for all of the cultural importance that Explicit has just down the street from Glendale.
It's literally
Stadium.
like a mile and a half away from Glendale Stadium. So that would be a perfect tie-in for the Arizona Cardinals.
Ben's going to be like, hey, what do you guys think about going to the Cardinals-Cowboys game in November?
Explicit night at the Arizona Cardinals game. Now the Hawks did say that none of the dancers are going to take part in the festivities on Magic City night, which seems like not very inclusive.
Seems like a missed
them.
opportunity.
I mean, you already have dancers at the game.
And maybe those girls can get a night off.
Exactly. You can bring in special dancers for the night when you're having Magic City night at the basketball game.
I'm just glad that this was your idea. This was your contribution for Do This. And for that, I feel...
M. Peluso in our chat says, Magic City's pretty amazing. Went a couple of years ago when I went to see the Padres play the Braves. So we've got tier ones who've experienced it before. Wonder if... Woods has been there. He's been to Atlanta, I believe, a few times in his travels.
He went there for the Super Bowl, our very first year of the show. I wonder if he went to Magic City.
My guess is it was so crowded Super Bowl week, he couldn't probably even get in.
Yeah.
And that is Don't and Do This for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Before we do anything else, let's give out a 4-pack of tickets to Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona, since we were just there. You can join Ryan Cohen and enjoy yourself in the Arizona sunshine and qualify for our grand prize, 4 tickets to the Padres-Giants game at Petco Park on April 1st. No April fooling here. To get your spring training tickets now, you can go to PeoriaBaseball.com, or you can win them by calling 833-288-0973. Let's do the fourth caller, 833-288-0973 for the 4-pack of tickets. PeoriaBaseball.com still have almost 3.5 weeks left of spring training. I think 3 weeks from Sunday is the final game. So you still have a chance to plan a quick drive out there. It's really not that bad. Well, it was 5.5 hours at the most. Get over there, find a room, go to a game,
go to
enjoy
break.
yourself.
You're starting to short out.
All right. We'll come back.
You got to recharge.
We'll come back, recharge, reset your Padres stories, and more next year on 97.3 The Fan.
He just, here, I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please
Just a
don't.
little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Not that now.
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's gonna hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee
It's going to in a second.
right here.
Oh, oh, that is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
I have cleaned and sanitized Woods' workspace so Darren Smith can feel comfortable when he comes up the elevator. Hopefully not an empty elevator shaft, and joins us coming up at the top of the hour for, as long as he wants to stay. If he wants to stay for the entire program or just for an hour, totally up to him. Whatever his schedule will allow, but we're very excited to have him in studio coming up.
Could talk to Darren all day. No problem there.
No problem at all. In fact, I would like to do kind of a foreplay with Darren at 8 o'clock.
I would love that.
Down. We can kind of just keep it non-sports for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we can get into SDFC and Padres ownership talk, and we'll still play Real or Fake at 8:20, and he can chime in just like Woods would in that game to qualify for the Guns N' Roses tickets, and he can react to Rhino Report stories if he wants at 9 o'clock. We've got some headlines for us, so we'll talk all about that. So Darren Smith going to join us coming up at the top of the hour. Let's check traffic quickly, then we can come back with a little more baseball news from spring training and Padres talk next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center. Injured? Demand justice. Demand Jurowitz. 855GetRoss.com. Here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Rivermark Medical. Looking pretty good on our roads at this time. Just a couple things to mention here. Southbound side of the 15 near Mira Mesa Boulevard reports of some sort of debris in the right lane. And eastbound 52 before Mission Gorge, we are getting reports of a stall in the slow lane. Rivermark Medical is conducting a Rapid 3 study for FlowStant, a minimally invasive device designed to relieve symptoms from BPH. Men 45 or older suffering from frequent, painful, or difficulty urinating may qualify. Learn more at rivermarkmedical.com. That's rivermarkmedical.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. Didn't actually get to it yesterday, I don't think. Max Scherzer, did we? Oh, yeah, we did mention Max Scherzer signing with the Toronto Blue Jays. I think we got to it late in the show.
Yeah, $3 million deal with incentives potentially maxing out at like 10.
Yes, 19th season in Major League Baseball, 41 years old. But the Toronto Blue Jays certainly have the look of a team that can win it all. Now, can they get over the inherent disappointment of coming so close? Game 7. I mean, inches away with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at home plate from winning the World Series. Inches away if Andy Pajes doesn't make that catch of winning the World Series. And there's both the psychological component to that, but there's also the physical component. You played an extra month of baseball all the way through Game 7 of the World Series. You weren't done until November, so you've had a shorter offseason. Your pitchers threw more innings than maybe some of them have ever thrown before, deeper into the season than they've ever thrown before. There's a physical component to bouncing back from that as well. It's one thing that makes the Dodgers back-to-back titles as impressive as it is. They have, of course, the pitching depth to be able to overcome some of those challenges, and were able to do so last year. We'll try to do so again. Can the Toronto Blue Jays do that? Jason Stark just put out a piece in The Athletic this morning. I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing, but talking about the exact same thing, how the Toronto Blue Jays may be even better this year. I know they lost Bo Bichette, but with Dylan Cease added, some of the other signings that they made during the offseason, they could be better this year than they were last year. But that disappointment was a real thing. Like, everybody in that locker room was in tears after Game 7.
Yeah, I guess you can see it going two ways in sports, right? You can say, oh, we got this close. Now we know what it takes. Like, there's no way we lose it this year, and they go on and win the World Series. Or, hey, that was just too much of a blow. This, it's going to cripple the franchise. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're still going to be a force. It's very hard to get to the World Series, and it's even harder to win the World Series. So you can't just say that they, with any level of confidence that they'll do it. But I agree. I don't think that I think they're better off than they were at the end of the year. Even with losing Bichette.
In addition to Dylan Cease, they also signed that Japanese third baseman Kazuma Okamoto to a 4-year, $60 million deal coming over, and you see how quickly he adjusts. But that was a fairly big signing that they've made. They're going to be dangerous. Aggressive.
Yeah, they're going to be dangerous, man. They are having the offseason where I go, okay, that's a team that was so close, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get back and get the job done this time.
And I think that Bo Bichette might be, he was a key contributor last year, but I don't think he's worth necessarily the deal that he got from the Mets. He's a good player for sure, but I think the Blue Jays may have been wise not to commit to him for 3 years, $126 million. Is he that kind of player?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So, I think good decisions being made by the Toronto Blue Jays, and, getting Max Scherzer back, I don't think is the final piece to the puzzle, but, veteran guy who was part of that clubhouse last year.
They got a ton of money to spend.
Will be, for whatever they need, in terms of having him. I think that's a pretty good move. So
a $3 million flyer for them.
Exactly.
And if you can provide anything positive, they'll be happy.
Yeah, you don't need 180 innings from Max Scherzer this season.
No.
You're just going to need him in a couple of big spots to step up. So that was the baseball news from yesterday. Of course, the Padres will continue their spring training schedule today. They visit the Colorado Rockies in Scottsdale at 12:10. We went through the lineup. Randy Vasquez is getting another start today. And so far, don't know that there's been a more positive story. Maybe it's spring than Randy Vasquez, a little under the radar, but, in terms of velocity, movement, the work that he's put in the offseason, and we talked to Ruben Niebla about that, about what Randy's done, and Craig Stammen has mentioned it a few times as well. Really one of the guys who has seemingly turned a corner in his career. Now, will that show up in the results on the field? I don't know, but it seems like mentally Randy Vasquez is in a different place than he was a year ago. A much better place, a much more committed place to being and putting in the work necessary to be an every fifth day major league starter. And it's probably what the Padres needed more than anything else is a Randy Vasquez who they could count on. Because at the beginning of the year, they didn't feel like they could count on him. He battled his way pretty well through the course of the season, but I think the Padres were always a little nervous every time he went to the mound.
We all were.
I'm getting the sense now that they're feeling more confident. Like they're excited for the days that Randy Vasquez is going to be taking the mound, rather than, hey, can we get through this? Can we get through 4 2/3 innings and get to our bullpen? He feels like he's a much more established and much more trusted member of the starting rotation going forward.
Yeah, we said it like pretty much every fifth day last year. He's not the most aesthetically pleasing start, but he was getting results. Like he was getting the job done and then some for us pretty much all season long last year. And I was finding myself really becoming a Randy Vasquez fan. I think he might be the most intriguing player on the roster for the Padres this year. And what I mean by that is I know pretty much what I'm going to expect out of Manny Machado. I know what I now expect out of Nick Pivetta this year. We've known Joe Musgrove for years here in San Diego. We know what to expect from a healthy Joe Musgrove, but Randy Vasquez intrigues me because while it might have been tough and uncomfortable to watch at times last year, he got the job done. Now, if a lot of that non-confident, unconfident level that you had in him, now if the team is feeling more confident in him, that excites me, and I'm very curious to see how he performs this year.
Jose in our chat says Randy is the man. I think they should have ran him out there instead of Darvish in the final game last year. Sounds like a hot take, but in retrospect, I don't think anyone even in the organization would probably disagree with that. I understand why they went with Darvish with a little bit of hope, but given the reflection of the offseason, given the knowledge of the severity of Yu's injury, knowing that he was headed toward, major surgery and possibly the end of his career. He's not retiring officially, but probably is not expecting to come back necessarily in the next year or two. Randy would have been the better option, even last year's Randy. But I think this year's Randy is a bit of a different cat. And if he can get, 97 consistently on his fastball, get the ground balls, the weak contact that he gets, and combine that with the fortitude that he showed in being able to work his way out of tougher situations. I mean, some guys, when they come up and they just blow everybody away, and then they get to the big leagues and they go, but now guys are getting on base and I'm pitching with runners on all the time. I'm not used to that.
Comfortable.
That can be really tough for those flamethrowers who are just used to just getting everybody out.
Right.
Randy already has the experience of, it feels like I have bases loaded, one out, second and third, nobody out all the time. I know I'm not going to be rattled in that situation because I dealt with it for like an entire year and still managed to put an ERA in the 3s up. So he's got that mental strength. And if he can now add a little more bat missing, a little more, movement and velocity, Padres, I'm not saying, an all-star ace of the staff, but, a solid middle of the rotation pitcher. And those are the guys that, to me, World Series champions always have like a 3 and a 4 who feel like, I'm not really looking forward to facing this guy either. He may not be ace of the staff, a Yamamoto or an absolute star. But when you get to the 3rd and 4th day, it's not like, okay, now we're feasting.
Right.
You get to Randy Vasquez, like, no, we're not going to feast on this guy either. He may not be as vicious and nasty on the mound, but still no fun to face. And we're not really expecting to put 7 runs on the board today either.
There's not a lot of free passes in baseball anymore in the 5th rotation spot anymore. So you definitely want to have confidence in your 4th starter.
Interesting to see what the numbers look like, from the pitch trackers and stuff today. So we'll be keeping an eye on that.
I'm looking forward to a fun season with Strandy Vasquez.
All right, 2 hours down, 2 hours to go. Expecting Darren Smith to join us in studio when we come back with Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Hour number 3, Ben and Woods on a Friday. Woodsy safely on his way to Dallas, Texas. He will be back on Monday, assuming everything goes smoothly. Paulie Reindl and I got the ship, and Darren Smith going to be with us shortly. He said he's got a little traffic issues, but should be here in just a couple of minutes. But while he waits to arrive, I have to admit, SDFC, who Darren works for as one of their color commentators on radio, they have got things put together. So yesterday, Paulie, we had Tyler Heaps, their sporting director, on the program.
Yes.
Talked about his contract extension, talked about game 2 of the MLS season coming up this Sunday night against St. Louis City. And then at the end, I asked him a question about those seats that the players and coaches sit on the bench. They're big, like, airline type chairs rather than like normal bench seats that you see in other sports.
Mm-hmm.
But Tyler, I think, thought I was referring to the box seats that they have, like these big giant, they call them race car type seats that you can buy, the pitch boxes at SDFC. And he got all excited about them. And then he said, I want you guys to come down to see a match in one of those seats. And it's like, well, we're not going to say no. And in the 24 hours since, they've already set it up. We're going, Ben Woods and Paul, to the match on April 11th against Minnesota United, and we're going to be sitting down in pitch box 1 right next to Frontera SD. We're going to be able to see the entire supporters section right there. Going to be watching a match from the field, which I've never done in my life. I've been to a dozen or so soccer matches, but I've always sat up higher or in the press box somewhere. Never been down on the field, especially to see professional MLS level soccer up close. So we're going to get that opportunity. I mean, they made it happen already, which is pretty wild. I'm pretty excited about it. And of course, it's going to bring up more questions about Ben and Woods being the shills of San Diego sports, which I do totally kind of understand. But I'm not going to pass up on this opportunity. I mean, I can go to any game I want. This is a different perspective, and I think it's important to.
I'm just going there as a journalist who wants to take in the scenery and the environment and report on it on our show the following Monday.
I think it's important to broaden your horizons and get as many different perspectives. I think we'll get a better appreciation for the athleticism of people like Anders Dreyer by seeing them up close, getting to see kind of the interactions, getting to hear Mikey Varas yelling at the team from down there from up close because we're sitting. So, I mean, it's going to give us.
Woods will probably walk down the sideline and give him some like advice.
I'm sure he'll be standing there like he does with Trevor Hoffman watching bullpens at spring training.
Arms crossed. He's like,
crossed, hey, maybe we should
make a sub here. What do you think?
This is
Mikey?
going to make us better at our jobs covering SDFC going forward. So I think it would be foolish not to go. Is the fact that, there's like food and drink included down there. I mean, I think it's important to get the whole experience. Obviously, if you're going to try to express to San Diego what it's like to be down there, it'd be silly not to partake in what is available so we can give the full report. So, yes, we are going to be going to an SDFC game and sitting in the pitch boxes on April 11th. And you can wave down from up in the stands at Snapdragon Stadium at us in our cool race car seats with the candy, as he said, is like M&Ms in there or something. I know Woods is going to like that.
Who do they play that night?
Minnesota United, a team they beat in the playoffs last year.
Minnesota.
Remember? Hate Minnesota, like playoff rivalry.
The Wild
hate Minnesota.
Yeah,
it's terrible
rivalry game.
It does come with the territory that when you're in a job like this, you're going to get the critics, and I don't usually fire back on social media, but I did yesterday. So John tweeted me this. He said, "You mean to tell me Ben Higgins doesn't go after hometown players? You hear him call Manny so cool during an interview? Every town has a tough journalist." First of all, John, I called him impossibly cool, not so cool. So get your criticism right.
Wait, what was the criticism?
That I shouldn't be fawning and calling a San Diego Padres player cool.
Got it.
When I'm interviewing them, because that shows that I'm not doing my job of going after, local players. And I responded to him because I do want people who cover my teams to be objective. But I said, and I actually responded on social media, I said, one of the most important parts of my job, and I truly believe this, Paulie, is passing along the amazing skills and stories of professional athletes to fans.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that by being cynical all the time. Manny Machado is an incredibly cool person and ball player. Doesn't mean that I can't criticize him. Doesn't mean I haven't criticized him and every player and every manager and AJ Preller. I have done it. I have always tried to be measured with my criticism and being reasonable about it. But my baseline, I told John, is always going to be facts and logic. You know, I'm not so starry-eyed that Manny can do no wrong in my mind. But I think objectively, if you are looking at Manny Machado, you don't think he's cool with his, you know, the way he plays, you know, the way he just carries himself off the field, I think you're the one who might be cynical. And for other people in town, and again, not going to name anyone specifically, but anyone,
name names, Ben,
anyone who says Manny Machado is a bad clubhouse guy, that Manny Machado is, you know, not a good dude to have on your team, those are the people I think you should be worried about in the media, because to me, that's objectively not true. I've done enough work. I've been down there enough. I've talked to enough people that I know that that's not Manny Machado's reputation. That's not how he carries himself. So if you try to carry on a narrative to score points as being, yeah, I'm the tough guy, I'll say what other people in town are afraid of saying. I'll say it. Yeah, this clubhouse isn't any good with Manny Machado as the leader. You're the kind of journalist that
Paulie, save that.
You're the kind of person that people should be skeptical of in the media, not the ones. It's okay to be positive at times. It's absolutely okay to be positive. Yes, the Padres have not won the World Series that they're trying to win.
You go on your
29. I
stay
can,
on your
I can
TED
rant.
Talk.
I got a rant in me right now. This is a good time to go get Darren. Because I got a rant in me. I am always going to operate in the world of logic and reason. There are 29 teams that aren't going to win the World Series this year. The Padres, once again, probably won't be that team that wins the World Series. Hopefully they will. They're certainly a lot closer than other teams to doing so. You know, they need a lot of things to go right. Even the Dodgers need a lot of things to go right as the two-time defending champions with their massive resources and their seemingly unlimited pitching. Even right now, the odds makers give them about a 1 in 4 chance of winning the World Series. They need a ton of things to go right and to break their way. So I can't sit here and go at the end of the season and be honest to myself and say, if the Padres don't win the World Series, they're a failure. They need a clean house. AJ isn't doing his job correctly. You can criticize AJ Preller for some of his strategic decisions. Maybe you think he's too aggressive in trading away young players and needs to build more to the future, that the Padres would be better off winning a World Series by building through their own farm talent and not committing so much money. But he has gotten the Padres to a place that we've never really seen before. Consistent contenders that have gotten to October 4 of the last 6 seasons. To me, he has done a good job and deserved the contract extension that he received. Has he done the perfect job and turned it into a World Series? No. But if you try to hold every single player, coach, general manager to the standard of perfection, you are just going to create a revolving door of bringing in a new guy like so many teams do. And you get a new general manager every 3 or 4 years, wipe out all the players again and start over and start over. The Padres are trying to do something a little bit different and in a way that I think most fans, reasonable fans, appreciate. Seeing the same core players on the field, talented players who make a lot of money, who, you know, will have some incredible moments over the course of the season, who will give your team a chance to get to the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, you feel like they could win series. They could go to the World Series. We've seen it. Last year, when the Padres played the Cubs, they could have won that series. Both teams played well. It came down to a moment or two for both teams. Padres didn't get enough offensively done in the end. We talked about it earlier this week. Dansby Swanson made a couple of incredible plays. Padres had a couple of, obviously, injuries along the way. that hurt them, but they could have won that series. I'm going to be fair, and sometimes being fair means being positive and not negative. And the fans who just think that the only objective journalists are the ones that are consistently negative and taking shots at their team, I disagree with that 100%. Darren Smith sits down with us here on 97.3 The Fan.
I just sat back
He
down.
told me to rant for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
I sat back down and I see the first comment in the chat says, "This guy loves to hear himself talk," as if Ben wasn't the only one in the room.
Yeah. Are they talking about me, or is that Ben? Who is that? That
Okay,
applies to pretty much all of us as well. What do you got? A wild hair this morning? It's a Friday.
Let me start by giving you some props because I think Woods
for being late. My apologies.
No,
but I messed up foreplay.
I think Woods would agree with this as well. The job of doing the show kind of solo, as you did for many years, and doing it with a co-host, completely different job. Yeah. Completely different. Yeah. I would say that me and Woods together, one of the easiest jobs I've ever had. We just sit down, we have fun. Doing it when Paulie leaves the room and there's no one else here, one of the hardest jobs you can possibly do is sit down in front of a microphone for 3 or 4 hours. And maybe you have a producer that, can throw in a couple of things, but carrying it the way you did for so many years, massive props to you because it's not an easy job.
No, that's why I'm not doing it any longer. I feel like I ran out of words. I just had nothing left to say. Like you get to the point where you're like, I'm tired of my own voice and I've already heard this story 10 times. So when you get to that point, it's time to go find something else to do. But I thought it was great. I was listening the whole way up. I appreciate that you sanitized the studio. So that was very nice. I appreciate it. But
you're welcome.
It was all good. And I'm very I was really struck too that Tyler Heaps is hooking you guys up with those pitch side seats.
We didn't even ask for it. This was just out of left
we work
field.
For the team, and we don't get these kind of opportunities.
Hey, you can wave at us from way up there.
Yeah, from way up.
See you up in your radio booth. Absolutely.
I'm
looking very forward to this experience. I've been to 2 or 3 games last year, loved it, but was nowhere near the pitch.
Yeah.
So
well, maybe we can figure out a way to get the missus to hang out with you guys. She's used to a certain standard.
All right.
Going to sporting events that
tell her to come on down.
It's like sitting in first class. Like she is not ready to go back to coach at all. So so maybe she can find her way back in the
people will complain about anything because I was trying to look up people who've sit in these pitch boxes. They go, it's pretty amazing getting to see it so up close, but you can't really see all the way like the other side of the field. You won't know what's going to see. You have to kind of watch sometimes up on the video board. I don't care.
I think they all have their own monitors, don't they?
Oh, perfect.
I mean, I
probably.
Think
and those seats even have monitors?
So.
Amazing.
I mean, I know some of the seats that are right below us that they have those monitors. So you get your replay like at Petco Park, right? The ones that are right behind home plate and around the plate. All of those seats have their own monitor because those aren't always the best seats. They're just the closest seats. They don't allow you to see everything. So I think that's the situation, but don't quote me on that. But that's amazing. That's Tyler for you in a nutshell. Too.
Yeah, I remember getting to sit down in the seats down at the below at Petco Park once, all the way on the right side, having the manager actually behind you, like over your, he's watching the game over your shoulder. Yeah. It's a really wild experience.
I know. I got hooked up with those seats once when Buddy was the manager, and it was by the visiting dugout. And like maybe halfway through the first inning, my gaze wandered towards the Padres dugout, and he looks and he's like, "What are you doing in those seats? How did you get down there? What are you doing in those seats?"
It is jarring to see.
The look that Buddy has, right? Like a classic Buddy Black look of like, "What the F are you doing sitting in those seats? Who allowed you into that section?" And it was just so funny that it was in the middle of the game, and Buddy's like, "What's going on over there?"
I'm so glad he's back too with the Padres organization. It was so good to see him out at spring training. To find out that he's a massive Take on Woods fan, just every single day, loves tuning in to identify the songs and the contest. I mean,
he literally love having Buddy Padres back. Employee Bud Black was like, he walked by and he goes, "I love that you guys are out here and they're great shows. It's great to hear the guys on with you guys, but I'm just mad we aren't playing Take on Woods this week."
Yeah, I mean, that's him. Like, Buddy, he gets it. I saw him at an SDFC game last summer, and he had mentioned, I think he was just on with you guys, and I said something about listening, and he's like, "Yeah, I love those guys selling the ball and all that." So, I mean, it's, who like, he's the best. I mean, and I'm sure he's adding a little bit of value as a former pitching coach and pitcher to this dynamic with Craig Stammen from experience. So I'm glad to see him around the organization.
A lot of guys in the organization are very high on Herman Marquez, and you got to think Bud Black knows a thing or two about him and might have had some influence on bringing him in here.
I would think so. Yeah,
but
I would think that there's a direct line to that hire.
A lot of people in baseball operations are like, he's a dog. Like, he's got some left in the tank for sure.
Yeah, they had some players before that whole thing went south. By the way, compliments to you guys. I didn't listen to every interview that you did, but the one that really stood out was Nick Castellanos.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
was the one we
you.
were the most nervous about,
well, for obvious reasons, right? Because you don't know him, he doesn't know you, and maybe there's a little bit of uncertainty here. Like, which way is this going to go?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna, and
we had to interview our friend in Philly who covered him as a pre-interview to the Castellanos interview, and he hyped us up. He's like, "You guys will be fine. He's good. He's good in like short bursts. Like, he's a great player on a 1-year contract. It was on a 4-year deal that it kind of wore down on you a little bit."
I like though that he opens up, like, in a way. You guys got him to open up where he admits, I have to do a better job myself of releasing some of the inner angst that I have. Instead of just saying, hey, like, aren't you sorry that you did the thing over there? You led him down a pathway where he was reflective and he opened up, which was really, really good to listen to.
He said that he can't bottle things up.
Yeah.
He's got to be honest. And he's got some strong baseball opinions, clearly. And people don't always agree with him. Hopefully it's enough for him to get it off his chest, because he said to us, yeah, I've been here. I've already had like 5-6 things that I've had to say. Like, you've been here 1 week and there's already like, okay, you got a list going like, okay, Padres organization, doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. Hopefully he can't expect everything that he says that they're going to act on right away or at all. But if it's enough for him to like, hey, I've said my piece, this is what I believe, and they can have an honest communication going, okay, here's why we do it this way. I see what you're saying, but if that's okay, then I think Nick Castellanos can be a really positive addition for the San Diego Padres. But the guy is fairly confident and certainly opinionated about what he thinks winning baseball should look like.
Yeah, and I'm all for it, unless it's going to become a problem, right? You don't want him coaching
like
the team, but if you say, hey, listen, this is the way we did things in Philadelphia, and we really felt like this worked, why wouldn't you listen to that? They had a lot of success there.
He's come to a good team for it, especially now, because AJ Preller, he loves opinions. He loves getting his guys to challenge him and come up with things that he doesn't know. And
Morning, guys.
Craig Stammen, seems to be quite open-minded as well. He's approaching this job not as, hey, we're going to do this way. He's going to be like, no, I don't know everything, and I'm going to rely on everybody else, and we're going to find the best ways to go forward. So maybe Nick Castellanos had some input in what it looks like going forward.
Wasn't it also interesting when he was saying it's not just that Craig Stammen and some of the people on the staff are former players, but that they're not that far removed from the game either, because of how much the game has changed over the last, since we've all been doing this, how much has this sport changed?
That was important to Castellanos. He said it. Those were his words. He goes, it's nice to have a guy that has done it in the last 10 years.
Yeah, again, I tuned in, not knowing exactly which direction that interview went and thinking that it could have gone a totally different direction, right? Which would not have necessarily been a bad thing for the Ben Wood show. But you don't know. Like, when you sit down and you're like, oh, like, even trying to think, what is my opening line going to be that I'm going to make this guy realize that we're not here just to, to create some conflict per se. Opening it up about the way, the season ended for Philadelphia, and he was like all of that just really worked. And I think at the end, like, you saw him like, wow, that was nice. Like, that was a refreshing change of pace from what I've been around.
I had forgotten about that Orion Kirkering moment that Castellanos was actually the one that was the first person to console him.
Right.
And when Woods brought that up, I was like, man, I understand if that kind of goes in one ear and out the other to the listener, or you don't think that's significant. That tells me almost everything I need to know about Nick Castellanos personally. Like, that was a huge thing.
Saying like, hey, like, we need a big season. He's like, yeah, you got to have it. Like, I know from experience, we all have to have big seasons around here. Again, like, really interesting stuff. So credit to you guys.
Thank you. And part of it is,
now let's talk about your Tatis. No, I'm kidding.
Part of it is going to spring training year after year. Like, our first couple interviews with Manny were highly so-so. But as you talk to him more and more often, he gets comfortable. And I got to remember, if you're a professional athlete, and you don't know the person you're interviewing, you don't know if this is a gotcha interview. Are they looking for a quick clip that they can put on social media to gain followers, or are they really interested in you as a person and helping tell your story and asking, important or at least thoughtful questions? And they don't know that when they're sitting down. If they don't know you at this point, Manny knows us, so he knows what kind of conversation it's going to be. But yeah, it can be tough, especially first time you interview a guy. They're on guard,
and a guy that's just been through that. Now again, it's sort of the thing that he created, right? But that he just went through some of this, the athletic story, all of that. Like, I'm sure he's sitting going, man, what is this going to be all about? And then, a couple minutes in, he seemed like he really opened up and he was really comfortable with it. I thought he sounded very appreciative at the end of it, and it made me feel like, as a fan, like I'm now not. Who knows? Like, he still could be a player in decline, right? None of us really know the answer to that question. But, I feel good about him coming here, and I felt even better after listening to that.
And Carl says, San Diego press has always been soft. They want to be buddies with the players. I promise you, I have no interest in hanging out with Fernando Tatis Jr. At all. I really don't. I just want to.
Fun.
I want to tell their stories. I want to connect them to the fans, but I don't think being constantly critical and pointing out every flaw all the time is the way to do that. But I will be honest, when I see it, I'm not gonna hold back. If logic takes me somewhere, I'm going in that direction. Darren, we got to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we will play Take on Darren. Are you ready? No, we're gonna play Real or Fake today. You can help out the contestant rather than take on the contestant in a game to qualify for Guns N' Roses tickets. If you'd like to be our contestant, call now 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We'll play our game, and then more with Darren Smith. We'll talk SDFC and lots more to come going until 10 o'clock here on 97.3 The Fan. First, though, talk about my daily fantasy plays, Prize Picks. Very easy to use. I was a little hesitant when they first came to me a couple of years ago, and I go, what is it all about? Is it safe? What's going to go on? And I have had nothing but a good experience. I set a couple of lineups a week. I usually keep it fairly small, but you can set a small lineup and win big money, up to 2,000 times your cash with Prize Picks. You're just picking against the numbers. Right now, a lot of basketball going on, pro and college, nightly picks with players that you're watching, like LeBron, Doncic. You're just picking points or rebounds or assists or a combination of those, more or less. And when you put them together in a winning lineup, you can win real money. When you sign up, make sure you use the code KWFN at sign up. You're going to get $50 in free lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Hey, if it's not for you, you'll find out quickly, and it'll only cost you $5. But if you enjoy it like I do, set some lineups here or there, and have a chance to actually use your sports knowledge to some benefit when you're playing fantasy and watching the sports anyway. I think it's fun, and then you'll be ready to go when baseball season starts here in a couple of weeks, and I love doing a little daily fantasy with baseball. So check it out today with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by GL Pools, the company trusted by thousands of San Diegans to keep their pools sparkling, swim-ready, and expertly maintained. Call GL Pools now and say radio for a free month of service. Got Darren Smith in studio. Carl did get me in the chat after criticizing earlier. He said, trust me, Ben, if Tatis asked you to play a round of golf, you and Woods would be there in a second. So, yes, you would hang out with him. True, but that's pretty much true of anyone. You asked me to play a round of golf, and I'm there in about a second. So, you know, that,
I mean,
but that is
are
true.
you supposed to say no on that? Or
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I am.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we need to define.
I guess
what
I do want to hang out.
I
guess I do want to hang out with Padres players then, specifically if they ask me to play a round of golf.
Are you a journalist? Do you consider yourself a journalist?
I missed part of your rant when I was going to grab Darren, and I was just curious, like, do people think we're like super journalists? Because I've never really viewed our job as journalism.
So you and Woods, you're fine. I do have to kind of walk both worlds in terms of my two jobs, and maybe maintain a slight more layer of objectivity, but you can do whatever you want, Paul. It's up to you.
Well,
You're an entertainer. Woodsy's an entertainer.
Whether it's my job or not, like even when I was growing up and listening to sports talk radio, the guy that I would grow up listening to, Dave Softy Mahler, we've had him on our show. He's a season ticket holder to Seahawks games. He's a huge Husky fan. Like, he's a fan. He just happens to have access, and he gets the interviews, and he has inside information and stuff like that. But I've always kind of viewed radio, at least in particular, like we're not supposed to be. I mean, it's not, at least not on this show. It's never been the direction that this show is going to go. We're not going to have like the hard hitting journalism, the scoops. We're going to bring other people on to tell us that. And then we'll have, we'll ask around, we'll get our little nuggets and talk about it for sure. But I've always viewed it as I'm a fan of the team, and I'm not even going to hide it. I don't think we should.
I think that's, I think by nature of working for flagships that are for profit, ratings driven, advertising driven, it just kind of creates that natural explanation for what it is. You could approach it with a certain level of journalistic integrity, but I never felt like I was a journalist. 20 years of sports talk radio.
Like Dennis Lynn is a journalist. Dennis Lynn will not show up to Petco Park in a Padres hoodie. I have no problem showing
Right.
up in a Padres hoodie because I'm a fan.
Yeah. I mean, that's, and it's a bigger conversation about what journalism is even now with sports in particular. So there's all sorts of conversations out there if you want it. I mean, I don't know every single day that we have to have this conversation where we're all trying to define what our roles are.
Yeah.
But I also think like, hey, you guys are like a, ratings driven radio show and you're trying to be representative of the fan base. I mean, is the fan base going to be confrontational with Nick Castellanos? I don't think so. So, you do the best you can. And in a couple of months, hey, if it's working, great. If it's not working, I feel safe in saying that we'll all probably admit as much.
I agree. Andrew in the chat says, Ben, you want to play a round of golf? Yes, Andrew, your treat. Thank you. All right, let's get to a very journalistically integral game of take real or fake, actually, today.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
You can win a final chance to qualify for the Guns N' Roses tickets, a weekly grand prize, Snapdragon Stadium, September 2nd. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. GNR fan, Darren?
I would say there was a time in my life, like in high school, where I was. Sure. I don't. I'd be curious.
Be a nostalgic concert at this point.
Maybe I'd be very curious to see what that experience is like.
All right, we got Joe. Are you there? Joe, Joseph, anybody there? Caller, hello. Gone.
Hello.
Oh,
is
wait.
This me?
Hi.
Yep.
Yes, you're on the air.
All right, Joe, would you like to play a little take real or fake?
Actually, my name's Richard. Technically, this is my father's phone, but that was a long time
that's
ago.
the problem. I use the caller ID. All right, Richard, no worries. You are a contestant today on real or fake. Here's how the game works. Darren, you're probably familiar with it. I've got a category today. If he can get 4 out of 7 right, he will qualify for the grand prize Guns N' Roses ticket drawing. All right, here we go. Since I got to experience Red Lobster this week for the first time in my life when we spun the Wheel of Chain restaurants in Peoria.
Wow.
That's what it landed on. That's where I had to eat.
Still open.
You get to experience Red Lobster this week. I will give you a food item, Richard. You tell me if it's a real part of their nautically themed menu or a fake that I have made up for today's game. Richard, you been to Red Lobster lately?
Oh, boy.
Gosh, it was probably about 15 years ago.
All right. Well, I don't think they've updated it that much. All right. Here we go.
Well, like Guns N' Roses 15 years ago, Red Lobster. These things fit.
All right. Round 1. Real or fake menu item at Red Lobster?
1997.
The nuclear sub margarita. Real or fake? The nuclear sub margarita.
Oh, gosh. Probably real.
No, that's fake. No nuclear sub margarita on the menu.
Nuclear sub margarita.
All right, let's go to round number 2. Mermaid's Vegetarian Delight. Real or fake? Mermaid's Vegetarian Delight. Richard, real or fake menu item at Red Lobster?
That sounds more real, so let's reel it.
Gotcha again. All right. Our 0 for 2, but we have a lot of comebacks in this game. You can ask Darren for help. I don't know how much help he's going to be, but
Darren seems like a big Red Lobster
here we
guy.
go.
Sounded sort of sexist.
Round number 3.
All right, Darren.
The Mariner's Seafood Boil. The Mariner's Seafood Boil. Real or fake, Richard?
Boil. I'm a big thing
Darren's
about
saying
real
yes,
right
by the
now,
way.
So let's go. Yeah, let's reel it.
Darren, nice job. You've got him on track. That was real. All right, you got 1 right.
Thank you,
Let's
Darren.
get round number 4. How about Brownie Overboard from the dessert menu? Real or fake, Richard? Brownie Overboard.
Darren, I feel like this is fake, but
I'm
do you have any input on this?
I'm going to say that one's real.
Ooh, Darren says real. Richard, what do you say?
Think it's real? Okay.
He's going with it.
All right, let's real.
Real?
Let's
Yes, it is.
Well done.
Brownie Overboard on the dessert menu. All right, we're back to 2 for 2. Let's go to round number 5. Life Preserver onion rings. Real or fake, Richard? Life Preserver onion rings.
Life preservers are circular, and onion rings are circular, so it stands to reason that they would probably be on the menu. So, real?
Also stands to reason that Ben comes up with a fake because of those exact same reasons.
Yeah, that's pretty good, though. I mean, if Red Lobster's hiring for some menu support,
all right,
Ben Higgins is your man.
You need to get these last two right, or you will fail today's game, Richard. Round number 6. Okay. Buoy gooey caramel cheesecake. Buoy gooey caramel cheesecake. Real or fake menu item, Richard?
This sounds fake to me, but Darren, do you want to help?
I'm going to say that sounds like something that Ben would have made up.
Oh, Darren goes fake. Richard, you're going to go
fake.
All right.
Fake. Oh, you got me. You got me. I totally made up buoy gooey caramel cheesecake.
Just because it's something I could picture you saying.
Yeah, I know.
Like buoy gooey.
You know me almost as well as Woods does now. All right, finally. Round 7, it comes down to this like every other week. For all the marbles, Anchors Away Alaskan pollock. Real or fake, Richard? Wow. Anchors Away Alaskan pollock.
Well, Alaskan pollock is a very popular thing for, budget seafood chains.
Ooh, I like his reasoning.
I like to talk things out, and I'll say real.
Today, Richard, I'm sorry I made that one up too. I was devious.
I was torn on
today.
that one.
Thanks for calling.
I was devious today, Richard. Thank you for playing. We still have our 4 qualifiers this week for the Guns N' Roses.
What was the last one?
Anchors Away Alaskan pollock.
Alaskan pollock. Yeah, I don't even really know what that is.
It's just a fish.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much consternation I do putting these things together
right.
every single day. Really.
I'm telling you, though, it's very creative. Very good on you.
Appreciate it.
Nicely done there. So you guys went to Red Lobster in Peoria.
Yes.
Okay.
We had the what was it? The Ultimate Feast.
What are they known
5.
for?
I don't even
It's
know.
Lobster Fest season right now.
The biscuits.
The Cheddar Bay biscuits.
The Cheddar Bay
Cheddar
biscuits were
biscuits.
legitimately outstanding.
They were really good.
Right.
The rest of it is okay.
Yeah.
I will never go back.
Lobster tail. We got 2 kinds of breaded shrimp and some steak that came with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Not
lunch.
a great
for
review.
lunch.
Yeah, I don't know. You're not.
They opened at 11. We were there at like 11:10.
Are they a
From
sponsor?
the complex.
No,
I don't think so.
just
company?
just-
no. Okay.
just
I want to be
spun the-
careful what I have to say.
Spun the wheel of chain restaurants,
You're
and that's
not
what we landed.
inspiring me to go run
That's
out
what we
and find my
landed
local
on.
Red
I
Lobster.
mean, Woods gave it a C. Paulie gave it a D+. Didn't kill any of us.
What
to
were
be
the other
there.
chains that were on the wheel?
Cracker Barrel. We had
Long John Silver.
Silver's.
Outback
Long John
Steakhouse.
Silver's still around.
Yeah, we had Applebee's.
Uh-huh.
The typical
Applebee's, right? Where I used to
chain
go before I was
restaurants.
21.
Yeah.
Chain restaurants that Ben would never lower himself to visit.
That's pretty
Right.
much it. Yeah.
Spin the wheel.
I get it. I mean, when you're in Peoria, though, there's not a lot of
There's
a lot
not.
of choices.
It's not.
there.
We found a great barbecue place
It is
in
the
Peoria.
chain mecca of
Caldwell
the United
County
States.
Barbecue. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
outstanding. All right, let's take a time out. We got Darren Smith. I want to get his thoughts on the Padres ownership. The news that came out last night, another bidder in the final process, getting down to these final weeks of nitty gritty. And we'll talk some SDFC as well, all coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
He just, oh, here, I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please don't.
Just a little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Nothing. Now,
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's gonna hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee.
It's going to in a second.
Right here.
Oh, that is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
All right, we got Darren Smith in studio. It's Ben and Woods broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All guests, courtesy of the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It is better. We were discussing the Padres ownership situation during the break. And, you were around San Diego for a lot of Drew Breesiness. I was surprised yesterday when Dennis Lin dropped that news in The Athletic that Drew Brees is part of a group with the founder of Viore Clothing to try to buy the Padres, one of the finalists. We're all in for our new Viore overlords.
I was
going to
say, anybody wearing Viore
I'm
in the
literally
studio
wearing
right
Viore
now?
right now.
You are,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Well, for years the Padres had that hookup with Lululemon.
Mhm.
I don't know if we're ever allowed to discuss that, but if you knew how to navigate your way around a Lululemon store, you can find yourself with a little bit of a discount. So I guess they're going to go to Viore, which is potentially an upgrade. I'm not so sure. This isn't really my space. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. Like the whole Breeze thing to me doesn't do all that much. I got to be honest.
Is he like the Manny Machado type owner of
Yes.
how Manny is with SCFC? Like I don't even know how much Manny's in.
I mean,
for.
Drew's done well.
Right.
He's invested in other pro sports teams like a pickleball team and
Right.
some other
A
things
flag
like that.
football
But
team.
He had a great career. He didn't have.
there's
like,
a difference
billions.
between
Right.
athlete rich money
Right.
and
Generational wealth.
Investment capital partners
Yeah.
type wealth. You are kind of the fun face. I'm sure he would put some of his own money into it, but it would be a fraction of what would be coming from elsewhere. And you get
Right.
a familiar face that San Diegans generally like
Mhm.
to kind of smooth the process and transition over to a new
Do they?
owner.
Do San Diegans generally like Drew Brees?
Yes.
Like,
I'm
not.
gonna go
I don't
yes.
think people dislike him, but is he a name that fans of the Padres would go, oh, okay, this is really interesting now. I don't know that.
Well, I don't think you have to. It's not like you have to convince the fans in order to get the team. You have to have the highest bid,
right,
to get the team,
right. Which is a question about that group, at least on its surface,
right? Yep, which is true. I mean, you have no idea. I mean, you can Google someone's net worth. I don't think it really tells the full picture of who they are financially. What Google tells you, this guy's worth $9 billion. This guy's worth $6 billion. Well, I want the $9 billion guy. It's much more complicated than that. And as I said at the beginning of the show, I don't know how you felt, Darren, back in 2012 when the Seidlers and O'Malley's came in. I was kind of sick to my stomach. I'm like, oh, these Dodger bros, right. Dodger, Nepo babies are going to buy our San Diego Padres. It felt like this is the worst thing that could possibly happen. And of course, no, it brought us Peter Seidler to San Diego, right. One of the best things that's ever happened to sports in this town. So I'm kind of going into this with a very open mind. I mean, like Jose Feliciano. Don't know him, doesn't feel like he's got any connection to San Diego, owns Chelsea. That's kind of been, you're the soccer guy, but that seems like that's been kind of up and down.
Yeah, fans don't love it. But
he could end up being the best thing ever, though, because we don't really know how it plays out in terms of an ownership stake if he buys a team.
Right, and that's the other thing. Like, we have no real concept of what Drew Brees' role is even going to be in this, or the owner of Viore. You are successful. I think sometimes, we can fall into the trap of thinking that because somebody has been successful at something that it's a transferable skill, which I don't know is the case. I don't know that Michael Jordan has not been a great sports owner, although credit to him, I guess something happened with his NASCAR team recently. So historically, though, it hasn't been all that great. So I don't know what the role is. Is it just being a figurehead? Does he want to be involved? He retired, great quarterback, right? First round Hall of Famer.
Yep, this year.
Deserves everything. Like an amazing story, inspirational. You can almost see the press release, right? Like, when I got to San Diego, I wanted to deliver a championship on the field, and now I'm going to deliver it on the baseball diamond. But just because you are successful at one thing doesn't automatically qualify you to be succccessful at another.
Might he have a little wisdom that he could impart?
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
Like in what I don't know the answer to that. Like, in what capacity? I don't have an. Is he going to be
when we won a Super Bowl in New Orleans? The owners did this, so let's do something similar. I have no idea. We need to check.
I don't know either.
Check traffic quickly. We'll wrap up the hour, and then we'll talk some SDFC with Darren next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center. Injured? Demand justice. Demand Jurowitz. 855GetRoss.com. Here's Kelly Danick.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Well, so much for a trouble-free ride. Stalled car westbound 54, just past the 805. It's in the center divide, and big problem in Mission Valley. Westbound 84 Waring Road, crash blocking the 3 left lanes. Heading up the coastline, northbound 5 before Loma Santa Fe, accident involving a car and a big rig. It's over the right shoulder. And two-car collision on West 78 near Nordall Road. That is in the center divide. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source, and all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, last minute here, just quickly. What's Manny's role? I mean, you're with SDFC.
Yeah,
I mean, he's there. He's got some of his money in there, but he's supporting the team. He's promoting them publicly, like he did when we talked to him. I feel like that's what Drew Brees would kind of do: support, public promotion, etc.
I don't know. I mean, I think Manny's role is mostly ceremonial.
Yeah.
I don't think that
he does have money in with the team.
I think the team gets a kick out of him being around. If he goes out to training, I think that the other players respond to him. They see a guy who is so accomplished and who's on his way to the Hall of Fame. But in terms of like picking players and scouting and all that, like, he does not. People say this all the time when he goes into a slump. I always hear it like, oh, it's because he's paying attention to this. I'm like, no, like he's
but
really
his passion
not.
is real. I think his passion is real, and we certainly understand it. And we'll talk more about it with Darren. Get to a Rattle Report. 1 more hour to go. Thanks for being in studio with us on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final hour on a Friday, and we got another hour of Darren Smith sitting in studio in Woods' chair.
Yeah.
You're okay? It's not sticky or
No,
anything?
no.
Okay, good.
I saw some complaints about the lighting, so I turned on the ring light. I don't know if that makes it any better or worse. Or
I can definitely see it reflecting in the window behind you now, so there you go.
Okay. Is that good? Should I put my
You look
glasses
fine.
on?
You look good. You look
You
good.
look great.
It's a
little earlier than I'm prepared to.
I
be
go
functional.
in after this, and I will sit at the anchor desk all evening at Channel 10. You want to talk about lights?
Those are intense.
Oh,
lights.
you got like 60 of those Klieg big lights, and you're just sitting under them for hours every single day. So this ring light, that's nothing for me.
Nothing at all.
I can handle some lighting.
You don't even use makeup for this.
I do. Not for this. Yeah, I'll use makeup
Wait,
tonight.
what?
But yeah, no, for this, I'm not. But no, that's why I look a little washed out right now. But
Do
that's
you?
fine. It's just a
I don't.
touch.
I hadn't noticed. You look.
You
great.
can see the kind of shine. That's what the powder's for, just to
Right.
kind of keep your forehead
get
from
one of those.
reflecting.
I recommend the Harry's sticks. You know,
Oh.
they have these sticks now, like the brand Harry's. Harry's.
yeah,
Power.
like the shaving
Harry's
brand,
razor?
Harry's razors.
Yeah. They make like I have oily skin, so sometimes if I'm going on a YouTube show or whatever, or should have thought about it today, you can put that on, and it's just like a quick little. There you go, a little bit of makeup advice from a career radio man.
Did you have a lot of acne as a teenager?
I did not.
Okay.
No,
That's
I'd
good.
get a random pimple every once
All
in a
right.
while.
Good.
Usually they were significant.
I had the worst acne.
But I didn't have patches. I would just get like a monster pimple on my nose.
I had medically
could
bad.
You could
Acne's
not,
the worst
you couldn't pay
because,
attention
You
to it.
know, cool kids could get it, dorks could get it, but there's nothing you could really do about it. They tell you have to wash your face and you have to do this. But when you got it, you got it. And
got it.
that age, they just sometimes had it.
Dude, when I was 15, 16 years old, I had like medically bad acne that I had to go on Accutane, like go to a doctor, dermatologist, whatever, take the pill. It sucked. It was horrible. It basically it dried out your face so bad that the acne would actually get way worse before it would then get better.
Mhm.
And it was like a permanent solution, but you had to grind it out for like another month or two. And it was just so awful how you just like,
and of course,
rough.
it happens in your most self-conscious time.
Yeah.
Of life.
15, 16-year-old.
Yearbook photo.
Yeah.
Dates.
At this point in life, we get acne. It's
Don't
like,
care.
I don't care.
Don't
whatever.
care at all.
But
I
you,
hated it,
they,
You
man.
guys ever use a hypodermic needle to pop a pimple?
no,
No, never did
like
that.
Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
whole
yeah. So
show.
you take
People-
it without the needle,
Okay.
and then you create that suction when you pull the syringe back.
Oh,
Like you use a syringe, and then
haven't
you
done that.
put it right on the pimple and you just pop.
Wow.
And yeah, man, you get all the pus out
all
there.
the goo
Yeah.
comes right out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a satisfying feeling.
You sounds like
some
you'd enjoy
people-
that show.
I don't like the show.
Okay.
I enjoyed popping my own pimples.
All right.
My wife would have no problem if I had a pimple. She's like, I got it. I'm on it. I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
You're weird.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think marriage has certainly brought us closer together, but I think we would still prefer to pop our own pimples.
Yeah.
At this point, but if you're called into action, you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do, but
Yeah.
you don't have to enjoy it.
Right.
Unless
right.
you have
Right.
unless you have back knee.
Some
And then-
people do.
And then you definitely need some help with that.
And that's where I learned the whole syringe trick
Wow.
was on back knee from friends that took great pleasure and delight in popping each other's back pimples.
Gross.
Yeah.
Well,
It's an incredible thing to see. Like, again, use these syringes if you can find them. I don't know where you'd get them today, but being the son of a nurse had its benefits.
Darren, I
Richard
will
in the chat. My wife loves popping my pimples, and I don't get it at all.
She
officially
loves you, Richard.
welcome you to a mini edition of Foreplay at 9:00. That is truly a foreplay subject.
I mean,
Just
the
randomly talking
but
about
the
acne.
satisfaction, though, of knowing that you had a pimple beneath the surface and then it starts to come up, pop. Oof, man, felt so good
Yeah.
until it scabbed, and then you got
Yeah.
problems.
Not for me.
All right, it's time for our biggest fan contest announcement. You know how it works by now. If you hear your name, you'll have 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973 and qualify for the grand prize. 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game this coming season with all the fan staff. Who knows? Maybe Darren will stop by. Catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. This morning's biggest fan is James Hawk from Poway. James Hawk from
Mike's
Poway.
brother.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mike, tell your brother to call in.
I did look at that and quickly thought, is Paulie trying to prank me when Woods is gone?
Have you guys seen the Peloton video of all the Peloton instructors who get tricked into names like that?
Oh, calling out the names?
Yeah.
Because I do Peloton every day and they call
Right.
out names
Right.
constantly.
Right, yeah.
I'm Ben Sanitas.
Is that right?
Yes, on my Peloton
Have you been called
account.
out?
Well, yeah, when I did my 1,000th ride, I got called out by
No way. I
my
did Peloton
instructor,
this morning.
Leanne. Who's your favorite instructor?
Well, I do a lot of the yoga.
Oh,
Are we
that's true.
talking yoga or
I do.
or
I do
strength?
the cycling. I
don't do
I'm
the cycling.
Full
We don't have a
cycling.
cycle.
Sometimes some of the instructors do multiple classes, but my main instructor that I've used, Leanne, she's been on maternity leave since late last year. So I've been kind of trying different instructors to see who I like, and I'm bouncing around. They're most of them are pretty good.
I think they're very good. The strength ones, shout out to Rad Lopez and Adrian Williams, always great, always very good.
The funny thing is they're kind of doing mini shows while you're exercising, but they bring up kind of quirky topics. They do their own kind of foreplay segments. And
all right, it's time for Don't Do This.
Yeah.
but do find the YouTube video of all the instructors that shout out the names, and somebody slips in some names there that you shouldn't, like Jenna Tolles. We see that out there on the chat. So it's hilarious. And then when they recognize it in real time, they're like, oh God, I just fell for that one. So there's actually an instructor from Chula Vista.
Is there?
Yeah.
Nice. We're a healthy community.
Mariana.
You do yoga, huh?
I
know that about you, but I've never been able to kind of get into it.
Trying to do a little bit of everything, Ben. Getting older here. Hard to believe.
All right, let's talk a little SDFC. We'll push the Roundel report back a little bit because I do want to get into.
Let's go to call number 1.
Oh, we got James.
Is this Mr. Hawk?
Yes, I am. No relation to Tony.
What about Mike?
No, nah.
Fair enough. Jimmy, you are in. Congratulations. We'll put you into the drawing for the grand prize in our biggest fan contest. Thanks for listening.
And also, just a shout out to Craig, man. Love crossing streams, man. Keep it going.
We'll let Craig know when we talk to Craig next time on Monday.
So.
Shout out Craig Elston.
Yep. He likes his crossing streams. And
I also like Darren's podcasts as well. I wonder if maybe that was.
I don't know. I don't know. Was that?
You got any?
Was Craig?
You got any shows you recommend while you're here?
What am I watching? I am watching Shrinking.
I started that. Yeah, with Harrison Ford.
Where are you? Are you
just the first
one?
season?
Okay.
Yeah, I finished the first season.
I couldn't get into it. I heard nothing but good things. Watched a few episodes. It didn't totally hook me. I didn't not like it. It just didn't hook me.
Well, I thought it was a little silly at first, and that it would just be irreverent and kind of mindless viewing. But the Harrison Ford character is completely turned this series into something that I was not expecting when I started watching it. Because what's his name? Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen, right?
No, he's not.
No, Jason.
Jason Segel. Jason Segel.
So I just thought it was going to be a lot of like Jason Segel kind of humor, and that's fine. Like it's a fine. But the Harrison Ford character arc has taken us places that I wasn't expecting, and it is an incredibly moving show. I will say that. I will not spoil, but I would say like what has happened with that one character in particular.
I need to stick with it.
Incredible.
We were starting at like the end of the first season. It was getting to a little more of his like what's going on because he was just kind of commentary for the first part of the season, but then you start to get a little bit more about him and daughter and everything in his relationship.
There's a lot going on there, and each one of these characters is like uniquely flawed, and you learn a lot about how they all sort of tick. And I think it's very relatable for a lot of people. But again, like the Harrison Ford, man, some of this stuff, whatever season we're in now, season number 3, incredible.
All right, I'll start back up.
Back up. Again, it might not be for everybody, but it's just,
you're a trusted voice in San Diego. So I take your recommendations
on
seriously.
It's not on television.
And I just remembered I started a show yesterday that just came out this week. Scrubs. Now, Scrubs was on the air for, 5 or 6 years back in the 2000s.
Zach Braff Scrubs?
Yes, Scrubs. It was one of my favorite shows. I loved it. It was funny to me and entertaining. So they're bringing it back. They're all, 20 years older now. And JD and Turk and Elliot and everybody, they're all back. And since Darren's in here, we do a lot of memory lane. We all work together at the old station. You guys remember, of course, Linda Welby, who worked with us at 1090. Her daughter, Ava, is like starring in the new Scrubs reboot.
Oh,
she's one of the new interns, one of the new doctors. And I was watching it last night. They didn't miss a beat in 20 years. Like it felt like the old show, and it was 2 episodes in. I was really enjoying it.
I've never seen Scrubs, so it doesn't do a lot for me. There's another show we're watching called Tehran, which is okay. It's
Like-
sort of
like
spy
terrorism drama,
yeah,
sort
like
of
Iran
thing?
and
Yeah,
Israel
okay.
and all that sort of stuff going on.
You might
so.
like Scrubs. It's Bill Lawrence, I believe. The guy, same
Okay.
guy that did Shrinking.
Right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of those shows out there. You
Well, that-
kind of forget about them every once in a while. If you know, like when they have to come out week by week, I've sort of fallen out of that habit of how to watch television now. Like when you'd have to wait for things, I almost prefer to have a library full of
Thursdays
shows
at
that I
9
can
p.m.
watch. Right? Yeah.
It doesn't work that way
And
anymore.
of course, Peaky Blinders coming out. What tonight? Is tonight the movie debut for Peaky Blinders?
Never been the Peaky Blinders guy.
You're the
so-
host of Crossing Streams. You tell us.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, that's going to be that's a incredible series for me. So looking forward to that.
Well, the whole concept of bringing back shows like 20 years later, they did it with Roseanne, and they just keep. Now that's the thing. We should do that with local sports talk radio.
Yeah.
Darren, Philly, Billy, we'll get you back
yeah.
one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, loose cannons.
Reunited some.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, if only there was a platform that could support that.
All right. Again, I think. All right. This is getting a little silly. At
Ben's
this
getting
point.
uncomfortable.
SDFC talking. I mean, the first game was spectacular. The first MLS game, 5-0. I mean,
Yeah.
we were confident, I think, getting a home game to start the season, but you never truly know with a different dynamic and a different team. Could not have gone any better for SDFC last week. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think it's very fair
Yeah.
to say. I'm kind of curious because I'm going out to interview Mikey for the pregame show. If he found anything that he didn't like from that game, you're always going to find something. It's just the nature of coaching. But in terms of how the scoreline was, and in terms of who did what, right? Like in a seemingly post Chucky Lozano San Diego Football Club era, there are going to be more eyes on players who are going to be counted on the fill in the gap. One of those is Amal Pellegrino, who scored a goal. Now, MLS gave him a couple of assists, but MLS does their accounting a little bit different. Still good for him. Marcus Ingvartsen's another one. Pretty much a lost season last year, had a goal, had an assist. Also was a key figure in the second goal right before the half. So, that's probably the best we've seen of him. So, as people are wondering what this is going to look like post Chucky Lozano, I think seeing those kind of performances from those two guys, right? Like that was a pretty big deal. And you've had 9? I know everybody has said the same thing, 9 different goal scorers, and not any of them have been Anders Dreyer or Lewis Morgan. So that feels like it's setting up pretty well. And we'll see if they can do it again on Sunday.
But short-haired Anders Dreyer directly, I would say, responsible for 3 of those goals in that game. I don't think he got credit for the assist on the shot that went back to Pellegrino, but that was more assisty than some of the assists, honestly, in soccer.
I mean, and
I don't know
Marcus,
how soccer
though,
scoring works, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't either, because sometimes the way I go about researching for the broadcasts is I go to a website called footballreference.com, which does not count second assist, right? Hockey assists. MLS counts these second assists, which is why it was a surprise to me when I'm prepping yesterday going, whoa, Pellegrino had 2 assists in that game. Where'd that come from? Didn't jot it down in my notes. Did not get logged that way someplace else. So, but on the play you're talking about, I mean, Marcus Ingvartsen was as responsible for that as anybody because he's the one that flicked the ball up ahead where Anders then went and chased it down, took the shot, rebound, Pellegrino scores. So, his contributions were just massive in week number 1. And if you could just put last season in the rearview mirror for Marcus, and he could be the version of the player they thought, which was part of their thinking, right, with Milan Olaski, then I think you're not going to have the same issue, at least statistically, replacing what you parted ways with from season number 1.
What do you think SDFC is going to do about the goalkeeping situation?
It's fascinating.
It's a good situation, but they just extended Pablo Cisniega.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Dos Santos has a contract, and obviously we got to see Duran Ferree make his MLS starting debut, and they've all acquitted themselves very well. And Mikey can talk about open competition all he wants, but he doesn't have playing time for everybody. At some point, you're going to have to make a decision. You need 2 for sure, but a third guy is kind of an extra wheel that you probably don't need and going to need to send them off somewhere for more playing time. I'm assuming it's Ferree again if everyone's healthy, but man, I don't really want to lose him after seeing him play last week and have so much success already.
I know it's one of the questions we're, I'm sure, going to ask him today is what are you going to do at goal? Because, one thing I've learned about Mikey is he doesn't like just bringing guys in and out If he feels like it's going well with a certain person at a certain position, he wants to stick with it, which I think makes a lot of sense. And it's not because, the old axiom of, well, you shouldn't lose your job due to injury. It's, he doesn't really think that way. He likes, if guys are going good, let's leave them in there. But both guys are going good, right? Duran Ferreira didn't have a ton to do, but he played really well. He showed decisiveness, confidence, courage on a corner kick, right? The way he distributed the ball.
That header outside of the box.
Amazing.
Clear that was very impressive.
And, we also have seen Pablo last time out in Mexico City had 8 saves, in an elimination game. So I would guess he's going to go back to Pablo, but I don't know. I really don't. And that's the other part about it. You hear him say all the time, you want to have a big squad, right? You want to have a bigger roster. But these guys train so hard and they're so good. I would imagine it's probably a bit tricky to say, like, I have my preferred starting 11 when you feel like other guys have probably earned these opportunities, right? So there's only so many minutes in a soccer match. And these guys, I think, are making his job, like you said, good problem to have, I suppose. But guys want to play and guys are earning playing time. So, the bigger squad thing, the more these guys are performing, yes, they are all contributing to the success. But I mean, picking the starting 11 cannot be the easiest part of Mikey Varas' job.
Is it just me, or maybe small sample size? Again, I don't totally know, but has SDFC become much more dangerous on set pieces, the corner kicks, and they look better than they did last season? I don't know what that is, or if it's just when you score a couple of goals, all of a sudden it looks a lot better, but a lot of dangerous chances from the corner, from Anders, and setting them up. It just feels like they've taken another step there.
That's the way they turned around the first game against Pumas, right? Is they went on this run where for about 10 minutes, I think they had like 8 corner kicks at Snapdragon Stadium, and that's how they opened up their scoring. Manu Dua scored, and then it was a couple of minutes later, Vasquez scored, and it came off a corner kick as well. So I do think those are details that they paid attention to, right? You couldn't do everything that you wanted to do in season number 1, but they wanted to establish what their structure was. And this season, I think, is a lot more about details. I think maybe some more crossing into the box and some more headers from guys like Dua, Chris McVeigh, right? First goal.
Those 2 goals were pretty much identical, right?
It was
the same
Anders
kick,
Dreyer in the same exact
header
corner,
into the same corner,
exact spot. And,
that works.
And if those guys, can be bigger contributors, if those guys can be a little bit more dangerous in terms of the attack, then yeah, again, I think it's so interesting that you have 9 goal scorers thus far. Like that's and Anders and Lewis and again are not either one of them. So I do think those are things that they probably wanted to improve on. I think because some of that is the way all these other teams have played. Like you've heard these guys say, teams come in here, they just are defensive and they're playing low block and they're parking the bus. And this is a way set piece wise that you can get around some of that.
Let's take a quick time out. I want to ask you specifically about the next opponent, St. Louis City, and what to look for coming up on Sunday night. So we'll get to that. Then some Roundel Report headlines. More with Darren Smith live in studio on a Friday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First, though, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, you can make the short drive. You'd actually be coming up, I believe, then it's down to 7 Mile Casino. If you want to play some cards at our card rooms, we've got California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em poker, Pai Gow, and Baccarat. But card playing isn't the only reason to head to 7 Mile. Weekends are a great time because Sammy's at 7 Mile offers brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. It was voted the best brunch in the South Bay. I don't know if Darren knew that, but you can get a really good brunch at Sammy's at 7 Mile. You can enjoy it out on their patio, which overlooks San Diego Bay with views of the Coronado Cays and the Silver Strand and the bay. It's really nice out there, especially when the weather is gorgeous like this. Really fun place. And then you stick around, sit down at the tables if you want to. They take care of their players really nicely. Got good dealers, friendly, comfortable chairs, TVs all over the place. If you got games on, which there will be going on this weekend, you can watch sports, have a cocktail in the bar. I mean, doesn't it sound pleasant? It's because it is. And it's so easy to get to. You don't have to drive deep into the East County and back. Spend that time enjoying yourself, playing cards, enjoying a meal, and just having a good time. Just get on the 5 freeway, get off if you're going south, E, and then you're right there on Bay Boulevard. It's the frontage street right along the 5 freeway. You're pulling in like a quarter of a mile away at 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Back with Darren Smith here in studio, and I've got a couple of comments I want to read in the chat. I knew this one was coming. Get rid of Woods.
What?
Keep Darren full-time. We're not going to do that. I like this one from Michael. He says, must say, Ben, you've really caught on quickly with your football soccer coverage. In 1 year's time, you're really sounding confident and aware of some of the more nuanced side of the game.
I agree.
I like that compliment. I've been trying, certainly, to brush up on some of my soccer and read up a little bit more than I ever have before. Yeah, I'm feeling that right
I like
now.
it. I like when we see you out there at the Sharp Healthcare Performance Center and you're asking questions.
I've done a lot of stories, yeah.
I know you guys have sometimes had different people on, whether it was Mikey or Tyler, and I will be out at the facility, and the Ben and Wood Show gets good reviews from the people that run SDFC.
I like that.
They're friends of ours.
They've been fun
now
to work with.
Yeah, they said, hey, maybe we should get these guys to broadcast out here someday. I said, well, I don't know about that. That's a long ways out there.
Oh, we're in.
I've made the drive. I think Woods would like to see it. It's an impressive, it's an impressive facility. So if people don't realize, maybe you've been down to Saquon, Singing Hills Golf Course before. They tore up a whole big section right behind the driving range and built practice fields, which are gorgeous. But what the most impressive part is what they've done with what used to be kind of the hotel casitas, and they've turned it into this, it's like academy, the Right to Dream Academy, but essentially it's a school. It's a school for kids who are also happen to be good soccer players, but they take classes, like normal high school students would take classes, but they also have, training, physical fitness. They've got their cafeteria. They eat with the first team players, like in the cafeteria. And I think some are as young as like 11 or 12.
Yeah,
and they
11, 12.
In soccer, they get them really young. I mean, in baseball, we think it's crazy when they sign, a guy who's just turning 16 out of the Dominican. But in soccer, They immerse them.
Well, this
at age 11,
goal
12.
scorer, right? This Brian Zomblay, who scored the 5th goal. He's been in the Right to Dream Academy since he was 11. So when he scores this goal, his first professional goal, which was the 5th against Montreal, it's the way the sport is connected around the world, especially through this academy. They were celebrating in Denmark, in Ghana, in Egypt, where they have other Right to Dream academies, which is a pretty cool way to be connected around the world. He had so many. It's weird to use the word colleague when we're talking about an 18-year-old, but he had so many people that he came up with through the system who were watching that because of what he represents as an 18-year-old becoming a professional here in San Diego. So I just thought it was like a really cool story, and it explains how connected San Diego Football Club is to these other parts of the world that, we often don't spend a lot of time thinking about or talking about.
And by the way, it sounds, I get it, a little exploitative when you think about, oh yeah, they're just, keeping these kids as soccer slaves for years and years. Most of the kids will never go on and become professional soccer players, but they'll have their entire college education paid for. Most of them will, at the very least, get full college scholarships. In fact, the goal is to get every single one of them a full ride college soccer scholarship. And if that's it, then that's it. And they don't come back and play soccer for SDFC. That's okay. They're trying to turn out good people who also happen to be soccer players, and most of them will go that route. Occasionally, some like Zamblay will, exceed expectations from the rest and will become someone that you can sign. And in that case, it does become economically valuable, where you've got a kid that you have the rights and control over, like in a baseball player, like a draft pick, for a few years, where you can put together a club on the cheap and go out and sign more, free agents because you've built through your own farm system, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been going on with soccer clubs around the world for a long time. Lionel Messi was a FC Barcelona academy product who signed there when he was, 11, 12 years old. So sort of just the way the sport operates.
How small was he then? My God.
Well, I mean, that's part of the story. Part of the story was that he needed growth hormone that he couldn't get when he was growing up in Argentina. And Barcelona, when they were signing this player, said that we will agree to cover your medical expenses for what it is that you require. And that was the deal breaker. Other clubs that recognized the talent said, we're not ready to commit to that. And FC Barcelona said, that's what we're going to do.
I had no idea.
That's how Messi ended up there. Yeah. I mean, it's often joked around about like, oh yeah, he was taking HGH before everybody, but like literally had a condition as a kid that his growth was stunted, and he did need the treatment that he got that was supplied by the club. So
yeah, he doesn't exactly look like The Rock.
Well,
even despite all that.
No, you're like it's sort of singularly unimpressive until you realize this is the greatest that's ever done it. And he's 5'5", something like that, 5'6".
St. Louis City, I maybe a bigger challenge than Montreal in the first game, but what are you kind of expecting on Sunday night, game number 2 of the MLS season?
Totally different team than what we saw last year. So this is the third time SDFC will see St. Louis, and their third different coach. So they came in here last year, and it was the inaugural match was against St. Louis.
Oh, that's right. There's a scoreless draw, right?
Yeah, and their former coach was a total coward who came in here and just bunkered, and they fired him, which they should have. It was embarrassing. And then had a interim guy. SDFC beat them in St. Louis. I don't know a ton. I know it's a different structure. It's a different identity, different sporting director, general manager. So, they want to be a little bit more possessive, but this is their second game and they're playing away. They played at home, had a 1-1 draw. They've made some roster changes, so it's not going to look like the same St. Louis team that we saw from a year ago. I think they want to be have a little bit more initiative, but I don't know exactly how it is that they're going to play away from St. Louis, which oftentimes we don't know until we actually hear the whistle blow.
Well, we heard that last week about Montreal and all their 7 new players, and you got to be careful. And they handled all that quite well in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, the red card helped.
Yeah.
I mean, playing a man up,
okay.
That's just, you're just off to the races.
The game was already
it was done.
In control, I would say at that point. It might not have been 5-0, but it would have been a win nonetheless.
Yeah, they were on their way.
All right, you want to stick around for the Roundel Report? One more segment? Yeah. You got any? All right, we'll take one more time out. We got Darren Smith here, courtesy of our SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Paulie with some Roundel Report headlines to wrap up the week coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
He just, oh, here, I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please
just a
don't.
little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Nothing. Now,
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's going to hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee
It's going to in a second.
right here.
Oh, oh, that is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Sharing some memories of spring trainings gone by. Darren, both Darren and I had the singular opportunity to get to call games during spring training with Jerry Coleman back in the day.
The best.
How cool.
So amazing.
Did you save any of those?
I do. I have a cassette, somewhere with a bit of the audio with Jerry.
Yeah, I have a mini disc somewhere. I don't even know if you can play a mini disc anymore. I guess you have to go on eBay and find a mini disc player. But yeah, I had a couple of those because Ted would go to do basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Mazer would go to do basketball. Those guys couldn't get out quick enough. And Jerry would be there, and somebody would be in the booth with Jerry for 9 innings, and it was you, then it was me for a while.
I think when I did it, Ted was still the sports director at Channel 8. So during the week, he had to be in San Diego, and he'd just come and do the weekend games. So they needed someone to do. I got to do 4 games, Monday through Thursday, with Jerry. And I didn't feel very confident. I hadn't done a ton of play-by-play, but I prepared my butt off for sure, just to, for that opportunity. And I remember as we were walking out that last Thursday, I think we were at Hohokam, Cubs Park last game. And he looks at me and he goes, "Good job, kid. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame by the time you're 39. I was like 24, 25 at the time, which was amazing. I haven't gotten to call a single game since then, by the way. So,
what a trip.
Apparently, the Hall of Fame bus passed me by several years ago.
1 year ago, Bud Selig was the commissioner, and I think we were at Hohokam as well. Or we were in Mesa. The Cubs had moved to Mesa at this point. And they say, "Hey, do you want to have Bud Selig on your broadcast?" We're like, "Oh, okay." Right into talk show mode, right into, they just traded Adrian Gonzalez to the Boston Red Sox. So it's like, we had to put him on the spot, and he started looking around at his PR staff. What did you guys get me into here? So it was a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was thinking about it 6 years ago. You guys got to do the booth with Jesse for a spring training game for, 3 or 4
I think that was in Surprise. We went out and did a game with him.
I thought it was in Peoria.
Was it in Peoria?
I thought it was in Peoria.
Maybe
I could be wrong.
Peoria.
I don't think he would do that on the road. But here's a little bit of that if you guys missed it or don't remember.
1-1 is a little bit down and away. 2 balls and a strike. You want to call a pitch, by the way?
No, I'm good. No, I'm straight. I'm fine.
1 pitch.
One pitch?
Yeah,
here, take it.
All right, what's this guy's name?
Jorge Ruiz.
Jorge Ruiz into the set. Yeah, outside. Ball something. Ball 3. Ball 2. Ball 3. Ball 3. 3-1.
That was very accurate.
Nailed it. If something happened to you both and I had to do this, there'd be no way. I'm very impressed by both of
Your
you.
scorebook is not up to date in this game?
Didn't even keep a scorebook.
There was Woods' one pitch of Major League Baseball play-by-play.
We got some of you. Don't worry.
Just threw his bat out and put it where they're not over there on the left side of the field. He was hitting with Greg Garcia.
It's stressful
Probably
in
only kept
there.
My flubs. I know.
Yeah, and especially with Jerry, because Jerry would take a nap in the fourth, and you're on your own, and here comes number 87, and here comes number 91, and you don't even have names on a roster, and you're turning around to ask Dave Marcus for help, and he can only do so much.
I love Ted tells the story where he would call a game with Jerry, regular season game as well, and Ted would go, to the bathroom, like when it was Jerry's innings for play-by-play, and he'd come back and he'd want to update his scorebook, and he'd look over and it would say WW, and he goes, what's a WW in the scorebook? And Jerry goes, wasn't watching. It's like, hey, you were the only one in here, and you're calling the game.
It was so much
WW.
fun. I know, there's so many great stories. I remember, whatever. I know we're Rival reports.
You got story?
I'm good with stories.
If you got stories.
If you got stories.
So now 2 outs with runners on second and third.
Jesse, he's going to want to get this guy out too.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. He's going to want to get this guy out.
Jot
Get the
that
third
down
out
for you.
Yep. Yep. Just so you know.
You're going to want to get this guy out.
Yeah. I mean, Jerry was such a sweetheart and a gentleman, but also former military and had a pretty sharp tongue on him.
He knew some bad words.
He knew some bad
hear
words.
him on the air.
And one year, I
I
won't say who the pitcher was, but one year it was one of the leaner years for the Padres, and a pitcher made his Cactus League debut. This was literally the first game of the Cactus League. He gave up 2 runs in the first inning, and Jerry turned around, threw his headphones, and went, JFC, this is our number 1 starter this year? This is what this whole year's going to... I mean, he was laying it on thick. But he just buried this guy after 1/2 of an inning of the first Cactus League game. And like, we're in trouble this year. What are we going to do if this is our number 1 starter? Dave, Marcus, like, this isn't good. And it just carried on.
Dave's going to do anything.
And then 10 seconds, 5 seconds. All right, everybody, welcome back. The grass is green, the sun is shining, and Padre baseball. What could be better than that?
Jerry saw the best of baseball. Teammates with Mickey Mantle and the Yankees in the 1950s, and Jerry saw the worst of baseball. He managed some of the 1980 Padres.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it for more than 1 year. It's just like miserable. Like, this team's so bad.
I know. And it was a tough clubhouse, too. They were not nice to Jerry in that clubhouse at all.
Glad they kept the booth warm for him to return after the 1 year in the dugout. All right, let's check traffic. We can get to a couple of round report headlines and wrap things up here on a Friday.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center. Injured? Demand justice. Demand Jurowitz. 855GetRoss.com. Here's Kelly Danick.
Wrapping up with a few problems here. North 5 Coastline at Delmar Heights Road. Crash blocking the 2 left lanes up ahead. Accident has cleared near La Costa. However, we have got reports of a possible disabled vehicle on La Costa Avenue off-ramp. It's over to the right shoulder. Also, southbound 67 right before Riverford Road. Reports of a mattress in the left lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
It's not the longest intro in radio for nothing, folks.
I heard
All
that
right.
live, though, that Paul.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
how are you?
Yeah.
It's great.
It's top 3 clips in my folder of thousands and thousands
Should
of
be.
clips.
Yeah.
It's top 3 moment.
I get it.
100%. All right, let's get started. We will start in the NFL. I did not know this even existed, but the NFLPA apparently puts out a survey every year to their players to rank top to bottom NFL franchises. Like, just objectively report cards. Exactly. They don't make these public, but ESPN
Well, they
has a
used
story.
to, and then the
NFL
league
filed a grievance.
and they stopped saying that the players could release that publicly.
Yeah. This surprised me. For the 3rd straight year, the Miami Dolphins are the #1 organization, according to anonymous players polled in the NFL. The Dolphins, 3 years in a row, they're #1, followed by the Minnesota Vikings, and the Washington Commanders were third. That all surprised me. The worst organization in sports.
I saw it, and it was as surprising as the top.
It was as surprising. It was so surprising that I wanted to make sure I was reading this accurately. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were ranked 30th. And I'll go, wait, were they polling for the worst organization and the Steelers are 30th, so they're actually the best? No. The players polled said the Pittsburgh Steelers are the worst team in the NFL.
Depends on what. You got to remember, what do players care about?
Players.
And they want to have their own good experience. Facilities. My guess is the Steelers haven't maybe updated some of their practice facilities in a while.
Yeah.
That's going to knock you. Just living in Pittsburgh versus Miami, it's gonna you're just gonna have happier people in Miami than Pittsburgh during the winter.
Facilities.
I don't know,
environments.
Minnesota is one of the top teams. I immediately scrolled to see Kevin O'Connell got an A.
Yeah,
coaching got an A for the Vikings, which made me and Cesar Torres happy.
We're both huge. Giant KOC fans.
Huge.
He's such a good guy.
The best. He's the greatest human ever. I know. My wife was on a flight with Sam Darnold the other day.
Really?
I said, tell him you know Kevin O'Connell. Tell him we went to Kevin's wedding. We'll talk to him.
I was worried. So when Kevin had finished his pro career and he was thinking about getting into this business, and like he said, can I hit you up for breakfast? And so we go out and give him some advice. He came in and did some shows with me. He did some with you. And I thought he was going to be very good at this. And then he decided to go into coaching. And I kind of thought, they're going to eat him up and spit him out. He's too nice.
You idiot.
He's too nice to do this. He's not going to succeed. He should have stuck with the radio and TV stuff where he really would have been successful. Shows what I know.
We had almost the greatest radio booth of all time for San Diego State football. It would have been Ted Leitner doing play-by-play, Kevin O'Connell doing color, and I was going to do sidelines.
Wow.
And we were this close to doing it, and the station said no because they didn't want me traveling on Fridays and missing shows.
It's always
that's a thing.
A wrench.
All right, we'll move on.
Is it?
You're going to miss Fridays. Can't miss Fridays, Darren.
Can't miss Fridays.
It's content.
Woods can miss Fridays, apparently, but you can't.
Let's see. About a week and a half ago, we were talking about the NBA All-Star Weekend. We had some fun talking about the dunk contest. There was one in particular, one low light, I should say, where it was the most basic dunk ever. Jackson Hayes, I think, from the Lakers. And it sparked the conversation that happens every February. Everyone goes, the dunk contest has got to go. It's not the same. It sucks now. It's not entertaining. And I understand all that. Well, next year's All-Star game in the NBA is going to be in Phoenix. And Phoenix's owner, the Suns owner, Matt Ishbia, he's a brazen guy. He has no problem sharing any of his thoughts and opinions. And he has already said, we are going to make next year's All-Star game an amazing event. And he has even put out a prize. He is going to put up $1 million cash prize for the winner of the dunk contest and the 3-point shootout. He wants to entice players, the star players who should be out there, really. He wants them out there in the dunk contest and the 3-point shootout. He wants to make it better than it's been in recent years past, by offering $1 million cash prize. Do you think that's going to help? These guys already, the top guys, especially that you want to see in the dunk contest, they don't really need the extra $1 million, but do you think that's going to help improve the product at all?
I do. I think $1 million is still $1 million. Yeah. Just because you have 100 doesn't mean $1 million
isn't still $1 million.
It's $1 million.
I think the 3-point contest, you're going to get whoever you want. Steph Curry, everybody. Go out and shoot some threes. Fine. Easy. Are you going to get the Shea Gilgeous-Alexanders of the world to do a dunk contest, even for $1 million?
Can you get Zion Williamson?
Or that maybe. If you do, okay, I'm intrigued again.
Yeah, $1 million is
certainly getting Mac McClung back for $1 million.
Yeah.
He's returning.
Yeah, I think it'll help.
I think so. I watched a little bit this year, mostly strictly because Keyshawn Johnson, a former Aztec, was in there, and I don't usually know any of the names of the four participants. He won it. Yeah, he was fantastic. I was like, that's pretty good. Had a very biased rooting interest in it, but it needs some help. It's always been the knock for most of my life. I'm 35, so most of my life they haven't had the best dunkers, the four best dunkers. They called it the rising stars. You had to be in your first 2 or 3 years in the league. And I'm like, that's stupid. I want Kobe Bryant and LeBron James out there dunking.
So who are the four right now that you want?
Ooh.
Who would I want right now?
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I was thinking about him.
I don't really need Wembanyama. It's sort of
no tall guys.
Do it from
they're
his
just jaw.
John Morant.
John Morant would
great.
be insane.
I
Yeah.
mean, plus the theatrics would be.
Yeah.
You'd have to pay $1 million in fines.
Yeah, probably. All right.
Would Michael Jordan come out of retirement in his 50s to
Well,
try
he
it for
can
$1
still
million
dunk,
bucks?
apparently.
I've heard he can. He said he can. I would watch that.
Yeah. Old timers dunk
Old timers
Yeah.
dunk contest.
Dr.
Where's
J.
Dominique?
Dominique.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then
Sean
we'll
Kemp.
wrap it up here. Sports adjacent. It's pretty sportsy, actually. So news out of Padres camp this week. The news that got all the headlines was Matt Waldron and comments that were made about him and the details of his medical procedure. And of course, leave it up to the way things work in 2026. Dude Wipes has reached out apparently and offered Matt Waldron a branding deal where they can get him some medicated dude wipes.
Medicated.
They're treated with
Like,
witch hazel, apparently. Which
hemorrhoidal wipes.
helps with the
Okay.
the ailment with which Matt Waldron is dealing
Do you
with.
have experience,
I do not, fortunately.
Paul?
I do not.
Darren?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Very happy to say no to that answer.
I did worry about it once, and then I think it was just because of bad toilet paper.
Oh, yeah. I've done that. That's happened before.
Yeah,
The single ply, the
Brutal. Industrial.
Ugh.
Terrible.
And
So
then
I
like
think it
you
was
feel
just
it like for a day. It's like, oh, what did I do back there?
Exactly.
Oh,
And then you start worrying about infection and all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
So
I
it's not great.
I feel bad for Matt. He didn't ask for any of this. Now you
No,
got companies
I feel like
jumping
we
in
would have
and
been okay
trying
not to know this.
I asked the question, is it a misstep of Craig Stammen? And I said, ultimately, people are going to keep asking the question until you give them an answer. I mean, or if you're mysterious about it, that's going to cause even
worse.
more questions. Like, we're not going to tell you what it is. It's just he had a lower body surgery and we can't. What do you mean lower body? Knee? No. I mean, eventually it's hard to play that game of poker face and not give up something about what. So he just said it.
I don't think we had to disclose that. Just my own opinion.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't also think it had to be reported.
We were sitting 10 feet away from it when it happened. We didn't hear it. He's talking softly. I got headphones on. And we go, wait, what the hell is going on over there? What happened?
But now that he's here, should he just lean into this and be like,
Maybe.
yeah, dude wipes?
Matt
Because
Waldron.
this is Matt
Is
Waldron.
that what you want to be known for? I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say maybe.
Let's wrap things up here. Darren, where can people find you during the week? You got a number of platforms now. Can you remember them all?
We have the Friar Territory podcast, which is 2 or 3 times per week as the season approaches.
Yeah.
You can find me on Ben and Woods Friday mornings at
I like that.
7:35. You can find me on the SDFC broadcasts.
Yes.
And, be on the lookout for some Section 1904 podcasts.
Outstanding.
Boom.
All right, Darren, thank you for sitting in.
That was fun, man.
That's it for us. Have
Thank
a
you.
great weekend. For Paulie, I'm Ben. Talk to you Monday morning at 6 here on The Fan.